In the shadow of the Rockies, where the wild winds blow, Albertans rise up, tired of the status quo. Oil sands pumping black gold, beef on the grill so fine, grain fields waving golden, canola blooming in the sunshine. But Ottawa's taking our billions, unfair equalization gain, sending it east to Quebec while we shoulder the blame. No more pipelines blocked, no more carbon tax chains. We're done with the feds breaking free from their reins. Alberta freedom, ringing loud and true. Sovereignty calling, independence coming through. No more woke liberalism, stealing our way of life. Albertans stand tall, cutting loose from the strife. Rocky Mountains watching as we claim our own land. Freedom for our families with a rifle in hand. Alberta freedom, let the anthems roll. We're building our nation forevermore. From the prairie to the peaks, where the eagles soar high, we're sick of the traitors calling us traitors, that's a lie. Equalization's a thief, stealing our hard-earned pay, while they push their agendas, turning night into day. Beef ranchers and farmers, grain silos stand proud, oil rigs turning profits under Alberta's cloud. No more begging for ports, landlocked but strong we stand. We'll negotiate our future with the world in our hand. Alberta freedom, ringing loud and true. Sovereignty calling, independence coming through. No more woke liberalism, stealing our way of life. Albertans stand tall, cutting loose from the strife. Rocky Mountains watching as we claim our own land. Freedom for our families with a rifle in hand. Alberta freedom, let the anthems roll. We're building our nation forevermore. They say it's illegal, but self-determination's alright. Like Ukraine from the Soviets, we'll fight through the night. No more sending our wealth to fund their endless schemes. Our pensions rising, fulfilling our dreams. Tired of the liberals, their rules and their games. Albertans awakening, calling out our name. Canola fields yellow, beef herds grazing free, oil sands fueling futures as far as the eye can see. We're Albertans first, with hearts full of fire. Separation's the answer, lifting us higher. No more being the wallet for a broken confederation. Freedom's our birthright, our declaration. Alberta freedom, ringing loud and true. Sovereignty calling, independence coming through. No more woke liberalism, stealing our way of life. Albertans stand tall.
Oh, yeah. Living high on the hog up here in Alberta. Albertans, stand tall. You got it. There it is. There's my first song produced just yesterday. And it's the Alberta song, the Alberta Freedom Song is what that's all about. So, yeah, it's kind of cool that I had a chance to play it for you here for the first time, which is pretty good. I liked it. It's got a little rhythm to it. And if you listen to the words are really, really about exactly what's going on. And those of you that are federalists and, are like completely against Alberta independence, well, of course, you're going to dislike it. There's no doubt about that. So, the haters will just go berserk, In fact, I can see it already. Oh, Brett, come on. What are you talking about? It was terrible. It was actually pretty damn good. It was excellent in my mind. And, hey, we're going to have a panel here today. This is going to be panel day. We'll, be doing a panel big time. It's kind of something that I think that I'm going to do once in a while. And today is going to be the day. And, if we get 5 little donations of $2 there, we'll drop the link to that panel. So keep that in mind. You can see that little thing at the top. Oh, actually, yeah. Oh, it's at the top of both of the streams there. I'm streaming vertical and horizontal at the moment here. So it's looking good. Let me move over a bit. I have to, I'm looking at the horizontal thing here. Hang on a second here. Let me just move me over a little bit here. Or the vertical. I'm looking at the vertical thing here. And you have to be perfect on the video, or else you end up looking a little weird. That's funny. I'm changing on the one, but not the other. Hang on. Oh yeah. Okay. We're moving here. I'm looking at the vertical video and I'm trying to center myself here. Okay. I think I've got it done. Hey, nice to see everyone in there. Pop it in there. Good to see you all. Michael's in there. Hey, Michael. I saw you. Over in the Jespo's chat there. Nice to see you. As you can see, I had a couple of trolls over there in Jespo's chat there. The trolls like going hard, and you know what they like doing? They like calling you names. You ever notice that? Seems like the lefties, those people that are on the left-leaning wing of the bird, Brett, are more apt to call you names. They'll throw every name that they can at you just to make you look bad, which is just something that they do. It's time to show me how tough you are, Brett, says Michael. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Brett says you are traitors. Yeah, right. Well, we're not traitors. We're not traitors. We just want a better life. Like, do you work for a living? Do you like sending so much money to Ottawa with your federal taxes? Do you like doing that? Is that something that's great? Are you happy with equalization? Are you happy that the provincial government tax money that's sent to Ottawa is then distributed pretty much to Quebec and Ontario and a bunch of other small provinces, and we really don't get anything, even though our provincial government is running at a deficit, and the NDP and the Liberals are saying people are dying in the hospitals. There's long waiting lines. You have to spend more money building hospitals and schools, but yet we don't have the money to do it because we send so much money to Ottawa to distribute to other provinces, right? Yeah. So what kind of a deal is that? It's not a very good deal. We're basically operating at a deficit at all times. And it's got to change. And really, we've begged. We have anything to do with the Brett, with the convoy to Ottawa, the Freedom Convoy? You went to Coots. You actually went to Coots because you didn't like what the government was doing. You didn't like their mandates. Hey, you know what? The convoy. I actually went with the convoy to Ottawa to talk to Trudeau, talk to the Liberals, talk to anybody. And you know what they did? They called us a bunch of terrorists before we even left Alberta, and as Trudeau did. And then he, had the attitude of, oh, we're not going to negotiate with terrorists. So we didn't even talk to anyone in Ottawa. Nobody from the Liberal side that enacted all of the mandates even bothered to talk to anybody. So, it was, and the first time that we went was in 2019 with the oil and gas convoy, right? Because we were ticked off. Alberta was ticked off about having all this oil shut in, no pipelines, no tankers, tanker ban, the rest of this stuff. That's why we went to Ottawa the first time. And you know what? We got shut down then too. Nobody from the Liberal side even came out and talked to us. There was a few Conservatives that came out and talked to us, but it didn't do any good because they couldn't help us at all. So all that Ottawa does to the province of Alberta is just shun us, to just, we're like that child that is unwanted, but you know what? They're going to take our money from delivering the paper. They'll take as much of our money as they can from our little bit that we're actually making. They'll take half of it. Okay. We end up with about half of well, maybe not quite half, but they take a vast majority of our money right out of our pocket. And they do such stupid stuff. Just look at what Carney is doing. Carney is, every time he steps up to the microphone, he is spending at least a couple $2 billion every time. Couple billion here, couple billion there, couple billion there, couple billion there. You know what? And most of those things benefit the fact that he has shares in the background in Brookfield, because a lot of those things that he's doing benefits the Brookfield Corporation. You know that. If you don't know that, you're not following what's going on. You're just, like out to lunch, completely out to lunch. So, at the end of the day, we're a little bit disgruntled. Like you, or any NDP voter or Liberal voter that lives in Alberta, you're like, oh no, Alberta's got to stay. We love Carney, we love Ottawa, we love being taken advantage of, we love paying lots of tax money, and we'll even pay more tax money. Just take all my money, because you know what? As long as you've got income for me, like welfare or something like that, I'll be happy, because I'm okay having nothing and living on nothing, and everything will be just fine. It'll be great. Right? Is that what you want? Is that the kind of person that you are? Or are you a bit of a redneck? Somebody like a typical Albertan here that works damn hard, doesn't go on welfare, but works hard all his life, okay? And likes to be able to buy some food, maybe a steak once in a while. So expensive now that you can't afford it. Maybe has the ability to be able to save up a bit of money, buy a house, put a roof over his head, have an automobile, have a couple of kids, a wife. I forgot that. Don't forget the wife, and a couple of kids, and have a normal living, a normal life, right? But you know what? The Liberals have taken that away from you, right? You're probably still living in your mom's basement because you can't afford to move out, can't afford your own place. In fact, you can't even afford, if you're a youngster, you can't even get a job because there are no jobs for you, because you've got this temporary worker program that has brought in so many people from other countries that are working at these Tim Hortons and burger shops and, the low end type places that the kids used to work at. And the kids these days don't work. They can't work. They can't find the job. Do you have any children? Yeah. If you had a couple of children, you know what? The cost of living is getting so high in Canada that people don't have children because you can't afford to have a kid. You can't afford to buy the diapers. It's sickening. It's honestly, it's terrible how things have worked out here. It used to be, back in the good old days, the 60s, 70s, 80s, you were able, with a normal income, even just with a man, never mind a woman, just on a man's income, you were able to have your wife stay at home. She's the one that had the family, and you were able to make enough money to be able to afford food, a house, a car, and have a good life. And that's gone. That's totally gone. And you know why it's gone? Because of terrible governance. The Liberals. Blame the Liberals. You know, the last 10 years, our GDP in Canada has just gone right down to where we're at the bottom. What is it, 0.5 or somewhere? We're like at the bottom of the G7. And the cost of living, all the way up. They just released the latest food prices, and they're up over 7% inflation on food. With lots of stuff, double-digit inflation, lots of food products, on average, over 7%. Unfrickin' believable. It is getting so hard to live in this province that that's the reason that people are going, you know what? We're fed up. We're fed up with this bad governance of the Liberals. And you know what? It seems like the only people with any common sense are living in Alberta, maybe Saskatchewan, maybe northern BC, a few. Otherwise, it seems like Eastern Canada is Liberal. And you know as well as I do, we do not get the number of MPs by the number of people living here. For example, there are things on X, for example, postings that show that there are some small provinces in Eastern Canada that have far less population than us. And, I think I have a problem here. I think my door entry system is frozen up because it is like 28 degrees or 26 degrees out there right now. Just stand by a second. I have to go and manually open up the door. I will be right back, and we'll get right into the show. So just stick with us. And yeah, it's going to get dicey. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Sorry for that little delay there. Yeah, it's so cold here in Edmonton that the electronic door, where it's got the keypad on it, it froze up, and they couldn't get into the house. So my siblings, or not siblings, but my kids were locked out of the house, which happens once in a while. Could be that it's got I think a 9-volt battery in there. So I don't know. That's a problem with these new gadgets where they have batteries in it and stuff like that. Once in a while, things freeze up on you and then they can't work or don't work. Your mom's and dad, California born. So am I. Ice baby, says 909. Hey, good to see you in there, 909. Yeah. Brett's in there. Brett says, LARPer, never a patriot. I'm an Alberta patriot. I am an Alberta patriot. So, you know, I heard you saying that. And you went over on my Facebook page there and you were spouting off there about Alberta independence, saying, oh, well, you're never a Canadian patriot. You'll never be a Canadian patriot and never try and be a Canadian patriot ever again. I'm an Alberta patriot. We are Alberta patriots in Alberta. And, you know, we have to take a different role here at this moment in time. It's a different era. We're living in a different era. You know, if Canada was such a great place to live, then we wouldn't be pounded on by Ottawa. We would, you know, you know what? The problem is not Canada. The problem is the politicians. The politicians are taking advantage of you, Brett, and me, and all Canadians by overtaxing us. Remember, there was a time when they brought in taxes, and the taxes apparently were for to pay for the war, right? And it was a temporary measure. And they just expounded upon that, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And you know what? The amount of taxes that you're paying never goes down. Carney says, oh yeah, I reduced income tax by 1%. Oh, you'll put a couple $100 in your pocket every year, and it'll be so good for you. Oh, and we'll give back to people on welfare and that aren't even making minimum wage or making minimum wage. We'll give them some money back that they can use to buy some groceries, some grocery money, right? But everybody else, screw you. You just pay for everybody else. And you know what? And we're going to tax the hell out of you for all the people that are on welfare. You got tons of people where they're just throwing money away. And then they got this program to bring in immigrants. Literally millions of immigrants have come into the country over the last 10 years. And when they bring them in, they give more money than senior citizens that are on Canada Pension Plan, for God's sakes. And they give them a place to live. They give them lots of money. They give them food. They give them lots of perks and stuff like that. And they're not even working. Not even working. They're sitting in hotels. They're paying for hotels and crap like that. You know, and then you got people like the trolls that are going like, oh, well, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a blah, blah, blah. You know, every name in the book. Because I'm just telling the truth. I'm not saying that you should not ever bring immigrants into the country, but immigration should be based on jobs, housing, and healthcare. And if you have an excess of those three things, okay, bring some immigrants in. But if you don't have an excess, and if people are lining up at the hospitals and people are complaining that there's no houses or that they're so expensive that they can't afford to even live them or buy them, okay, or you have food that is so expensive that you've got a couple of million people lining up at food banks, maybe you shouldn't be bringing in so many immigrants. You know, it's got nothing to do with racism. Okay, it just has to do with common sense. But you know what? Common sense is not all that common. Brett says, I'm smart enough to know Alberta has also received equalization payments in the past. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know that. You're not telling me anything I don't know. And I'm not clueless about, you know, I know about that. But right now, our government is operating at a deficit. Okay. Right now, today, this year, last year, did we receive any equalization payments? No, we didn't. But yet we're operating at a deficit. That's the reason that we can't build the hospitals. We can't build the schools that we so badly need. And the liberals are all going, oh, that's not the fault of the federal government. That's the fault of the provincial government, because the provincial government should be building those hospitals and get more people through the emergency system. It's the provincial government's fault, which is just plain stupidity. Because who is it that's bringing in the mass immigration? Is it the province? And you know what? A lot of the immigrants come into Alberta because you know why? Because this is where the jobs are. This is where they can get employment. That's why they all come in here, and they overload our healthcare system, and we haven't built enough hospitals because we don't have enough money to do it, because we're sending our tax money to Ottawa to give to Quebec. Do you think that Quebec is a have-not province? Quebec purposely leaves its minerals in the ground, purposely doesn't touch any of its minerals. You try and drill an oil well or a gas well or anything like that in Quebec, or open up any kind of a mine, it is so difficult to do that you will not do it. They want their stuff kept in the ground. And you know what? They have no problem at all taking Alberta money. Don't be foolish. Don't be foolish. Understand what's happening here. You know, we're pulling the resources out of our ground, but we're sending the money for those resources to other provinces. That's what a lot of the problem is. You know, and if you don't see the problem, you're part of the problem. You know, and Brett, you're really good for talking about stuff, but you're not telling us anything that we don't know, right? It's just the way it is. I've never voted NBP or Liberal in my life, thanks, but way to parrot and recite conservatard crap. Yeah, well, no, it's not conservative stuff. I didn't mention conservative at all. Not at all. I'm just talking from a point of common sense. It doesn't matter whether I'm conservative, liberal, or NDP. I'm stating facts, just the facts. I'm not flying any particular flag or anything at all. I'm just saying I'm Albertan. This is a redneck Albertan point of view. It's not conservative. It's let's just talk about the facts. I'm pointing out the facts. This is where we are. This is where we're sitting. And there are an awful lot of Albertans that are not happy with what's happening. You know, you can see in the chat, you're like the one guy sitting there going, oh, I want to die by the sword of the Liberals out of Ottawa. You know, they'll take all my money and I'll have nothing, but I'll be happy. Hey, whenever those modular homes show up, those Brookfield modular homes, I'll be living in one. No problem. I'll rent one. I'll bow down to Carney and do whatever he says. No. Majority of Albertans, I wouldn't say the majority, but a lot of Albertans are ticked off. They're fed up with the federal government. And I'm just one of them. I'm live right now. Okay. You had my attention for 10 seconds, but you didn't say anything. Just hang on a second. I'll be right back. I'll be here, but I just got to talk to somebody here. We'll be right back. Okay, we've got the sun starting to come into the studio here. As you can see, the bright sun is coming in, and it's even coming in behind me. You can see the sun is coming over the mountain as we're sitting over here by the mountains. Having fun. Yeah, if we get 5 people donating $2 to us here, we'll open up the StreamYard panel, get the panel going. We've got that little thing going up in the top of your screen there, you will see. So if you guys want a panel, we'll do that. If you guys don't want a panel, well, then you can just listen to me babble on here about the stuff that I'm talking about. Well, yeah, I know, but it doesn't matter whether you've never voted NDP or Liberal. You are leaning to the left. If you're not conservative, conservative is right of center. Okay, you can maybe call yourself a centrist or something like that. But if you're not conservative, or you're not part of the plan of what's going on here, or if you're not an Alberta patriot, then yeah, you might be a Canadian patriot. You might be elbows up liberal. You know what I mean? So just saying, you're probably closer to an elbows up liberal than you are to a guy like me, or to the people that I hang with, go to. I was in a convoy from Red Deer to Sylvan Lake there, not this weekend, but the weekend before, and had a lot of fun talking to the people out there. I even met up with Pat King, who was there, and he signed the petition, and I signed the petition. He actually videoed me signing the petition. Gave him my phone there when I was doing a live. So it was a lot of fun, And the people are dead set on independence. Like, there have been people, like, even I remember my father, who's not alive here right now, he wasn't happy with what Ottawa was, how Ottawa was treating Alberta when he was alive. So I've heard this all my life of how Alberta has been taken advantage of. It's like, it's crazy. Yeah, you're exactly right. Real Albertans want independence. They don't want to send their money out east. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and hey, Brett, saying stuff like that got you a visit from the RCMP. You remember that? Remember that when the RCMP visited you? A little knock on your door, and they said, Brett, you better not come up with death threats against any identifiable people like you're doing right there. So cut it out. Don't do that. There's a really famous, I was watching a video from Charlie Veach from England, and he got thrown in jail, arrested, and charged with some kind of a hate crime. I don't know if it was a hate crime, but a crime in the UK because he was at some kind of a rally, and basically what happened is he took his camera and he zoomed way out, and there was a backside of a guy that maybe had pink hair, purple hair, or something like that, and he made a comment about a tranny, and that was about it. He was so far away that the person didn't hear what he said, but the police arrested him for that, for making that comment about that transsexual person. So that's how bad these hate laws are in the UK, that you can't even, and he was arrested for inciting violence against a person or something like that. And it was just so ridiculous because he was like 40 feet away from the person. The person didn't even hear what he said. And it was just based off of the fact that it was some of what was in his video. So yeah, pretty sad that stuff like that happens. So be careful. Be careful. There are hate laws in Canada, and you know that because you've already gotten a visit from the RCMP. I don't even want to talk about this. So don't go there. Don't say stuff like that. That's just being like way over the boundaries. Okay, like if you were in any other channel, you'd probably get the boot. Probably be timed out for a comment like that if you were in the Ryan Jesperson show. But me, I'll just leave it in there so that everyone else can see what it is that I'm talking about. I'm the only member of the royal family in the U.S. Airborne. Hey, that sounds good. It's EICD Barrett in the chat there. Good to see you. Good to see you in there. If you wanted to scare and intimidate me by saying you were sending screenshots of my comments to Tommy Temper on Facebook, yeah. You know me. The chat goes on and people say what they want in the chat, and I rarely get involved in the fighting that goes on in the chat. It's usually you guys fighting amongst yourself, and I know everyone complains to me and they go, why do you have that guy in your chat? Why do you allow that guy in your chat? He's trouble causer or whatever. Hey, this is the internet. This is YouTube, and it's a YouTube chat, and people fight in there. They use it as a little fight place. In the old days, you'd have fight rooms that you go in and fight. Nowadays, it's called YouTube chat. How long before Alberta leaves Canada? Well, what we're doing is right now, they have what's called a plebiscite, which is just obtaining signatures from people that want to put the separation wording on a ballot in a real election and have people actually vote on it. So if it works out, we have I think about 90 days or something to gather 170,000 signatures. And if you want my opinion, I think that we probably got over 170,000 signatures by now, because they're talking about getting 1 million signatures. Really, honestly, like the number of people that have signed is just absolutely phenomenal. There are 5 million people that live in the province here, and you know what? Not all 5,000 actually vote. So of the people that are going to go out to vote, you might only have 1.5 million or maybe 2 million people go out and vote. And if of those people that actually vote, more than 50% vote yes, we want to be an independent province or country. Getting the sun in my eyes here now. I'm going to have to put my sunglasses on here pretty quick. You know, it is a good possibility. And one of the polls that came out shows that 41% of Albertans want independence. There's been a poll that has come out and said that. So we are actually doing quite well, very well, with regards to the number of people. And as things go along and as we get closer and closer to the actual vote, more and more people will actually come on board and, you know, say, hey, I'm pro independence. Because as people understand what it will do for you, I'm sure that, Brett, you want more money in your pocket. I want more money in our pocket. I think that everyone should have more money in your pocket, because that actually, in this day and age of being alive here on Earth, the whole world runs on money. It's all about money, whether you like it or not. It's all about money. And even this business of Alberta being part of Canada is all about money. It's all about the fact that Ottawa can actually take our money, take the money out of Alberta, and use it as they wish, and not leave it within our province so that we can use it as we wish. Other provinces, they can drill, they can make mines, they can, you know, do whatever they want with their own resources. Sure, we have oil here. Nova Scotia has oil off of the coast. Your places like Quebec have natural gas, oil, and stuff like that they can drill for. They can pull their own stuff out of the ground. They can, you know, use their own resources to get their own money, and just leave us alone. Leave us alone with our money here. You know, you bring so many immigrants into the country, and they all flood in. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Like, I was just looking at the statistics of what happens to the immigrants that come into Canada, and a lot of them flow into Alberta. You know, and people are going to go, oh yeah, but Daniel Smith wanted more immigrants in Alberta. Yeah, there are times when there are lots of jobs and we need people coming in here. But it's gotten to the point where we've been completely flooded with people coming into Alberta, and we are at our wits' end. You know, I went into the hospital the other day, and like, really, I honestly, I thought I was in the third world. I was like the only white guy sitting in there, and everybody else is speaking all kind of different languages, and you know, like moms with kids and grandmothers and all kind of people like that. And it was like it was like I was like somewhere in, I don't know, I'm thinking of places where I've traveled in my past. North Africa, right? It was like being in a hospital room in North Africa and not Canada. I felt like completely ill at ease. And you know, that's how it's gotten, because you've got so many people coming in from other countries that the health systems are being just overwhelmed, totally overwhelmed, you know, and we're not getting enough money from Ottawa back into the province to help us to build hospitals, build schools, and things like that are needed for all this mass immigration. They're not helping us with building houses, except they've come up with a plan. They go, oh yeah, your cities can change the zoning. And Edmonton actually did this, where they changed the zoning so that all of the single family lots in the city, you can now build an eightplex on it, and you don't need parking. You only need parking for like about 4 cars, but you can build an eightplex, right? And nowhere for people to park, because hey, they're going to be riding e-scooters and stuff like that. They won't have a car. It's like completely crazy what they're doing here. And they just re-voted on it too, just the other day I saw. And city council is so freaking woke that they upheld the 8-unit policy, the eightplex policy on the single lots. So if you live in Edmonton, or they probably done the same thing. I think they did the same thing in Calgary too. And all it was a big money thing. Like I said, it's all about money, because Ottawa came to the cities and they said, hey, we'll give you these millions of dollars. We'll give you, like 200 million. I don't even know what the number was, but let's say 200 million for you to change your zoning to build eightplexes on single family lots. That way the developers will build more houses, right? You won't have to expand outwards, but you'll just build in wherever you have houses right now. And then all the immigrants will have somewhere to live. Oh, okay. Sounds good on paper, but oh man, is the backlash ever big? Where you have a little ma and pa with a house, and now they're building some big 4-story apartment building right next door to them. And there's a picture of a guy with a little house, and he's got 2 of these 4-story fourplexes on either side of him there. Well, or maybe they're not 4. I think they're like 3-story, maybe not 4-story, but they're huge. They're huge, and they take up almost the whole lot too. So it's like you're living in a I don't know what, cauldron or something. Like, I don't know. It's like it's just craziness, absolute craziness. Brett says, I don't like jail. Been there, done that. I don't like hurting people. I've hurt a lot of people. Well, I don't like hurting people. Yeah. Well, don't say, something about a rope or something. You got a rope with your name on it or stuff like that. Like, come on. That's just stupid talk. Don't talk like that. Just leave that alone. Leave that alone. Just don't say that about people. Don't say that you're going to do people in. Just everyone has a right to live. It doesn't matter if you're a Muslim or a Jew or a white guy or a black guy. Everybody has a right to live, right? And I'm not against immigration at all. Just mass immigration is what I'm against. It's like when you overdo something, it starts to hurt people, and it's hurting our entire society here, where you have mass immigration. You've got too many people coming in, and it's overrunning our whole world. It's like this is a different place that we're living in here. It's like like I said, I've traveled to a lot of places in the world, and I feel like the one Canadian in the bastion of people from other nations, right? I'm like, I don't feel like I'm Canadian anymore. Like 20 years ago, yeah, I felt like this was Canada and I'm a Canadian, and I felt pretty good about living in Canada. But now I don't feel good about living in Canada. I feel like it's I'm living in India, for God's sakes. Really, honestly. Or some, North Africa, someplace, in North Africa, Libya, or Morocco or something. It's completely different. It's a different feeling. It's a different, complete anything. It's like the Liberals have ruined Canada to the point that we're not Canada anymore. It's like some other country here now. And I feel like I'm in some other country. It's like everywhere I go, people are not speaking English. They're speaking other languages. It's if I went over to another country and they're all speaking their language and I'm the only guy speaking English. It's like you go to a restaurant and the servers or the people behind the till are all they're talking amongst themselves, and it's like, oh my God. They're not even speaking English. I don't even know what they're saying. Are they saying something about me? Are they saying, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, another white guy coming in here. Yeah, we'll just spit in his food or something there when we serve him. I don't know what they're saying. It's not good. Put it that way. Yeah. Okay. Call me what you want, but I'm being off the cuff and saying whatever the hell I want. And, there's people out there that are like, oh, he's a racist, Okay, lefty. Yeah, right. Call me another name, but it doesn't hurt me. And, once you call me a racist once, then it's over. You can call me it over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't make any difference at all because you've already called me it once when I wasn't talking about this stuff, so that now I can talk about it all day long. So there you go. There you go. And the rest is history, right? Yeah. Brett was at Coots. Brett was at the Coots border blockade there, by the way. And, I was at both. I was one of the few people that was actually at Ottawa. I was in the convoy to Ottawa, and I was also at the Coots blockade. I was at both of those events, and that's a little known secret that most people don't know because, government and stuff like that is all going, oh, who was at both of these events and who is in charge of this and who is in charge of that. But you know what? I wasn't in charge of anything. I wasn't the guy that was saying, oh, I'm in charge here and I'm going to stick my neck out for the whole thing. I was just part of the whole thing. I was supporting everybody that was doing things. Maybe not all things that people did. And in a lot of cases, I was out there saying, don't do anything illegal. And I said that to a lot of people over and over and over again with these blockades and with what was going on in Ottawa. I said, you guys don't do anything illegal. If the cop tells you to move your truck, move your truck. If the cop tells you to leave, leave. Don't wait for a tow truck to come. But, listen to what the government is telling you. And if they don't want you to do something, don't do it. Don't do anything illegal, right? That was my take on everything. Don't do anything illegal. And the people that got, arrested for mischief or something like that, well, apparently the police thought they were doing something illegal, right? Like I never told people to hold the line or to stay there or to break the law, right? That wasn't me that did that at all. That was like what other people wanted to do. People did whatever they wanted to do. In a lot of cases, it was like each man for himself. And I didn't really feel like there was a couple of people at the top that were telling me what to do. It was like I was my own self. I was going where I wanted to go. I did what I wanted to do. I was at the protest in Ottawa. I was at the protest in Coots. And the rest is history, But I didn't break the law. So there you go. Yeah, exactly. Brett is stirring the pot as usual. There you go. Yeah. You can say what you want. Run away when things get tough. Yeah, right. You don't have any idea. Like I really haven't told my entire story at all. Like there's a lot of things that I know about what happened with the convoy and with Coots and with Ottawa that I know and only I know. I knew a lot of the key people that were involved. I talked to a lot of the key people that were involved, and I had certain reasons for doing what I did, and you don't know what those reasons are. A lot of people will never know what those reasons are because they haven't really talked to me personally, and I probably never will say a lot of the things that I know, but it's history. It made history. Put it that way. But the only problem is that it scared the hell out of Trudeau. Trudeau, the little wimpy, I won't say that, but he's a feminist. The wimpy feminist that he is, he got awful scared really easily. You know that. I know that. And that's why he just called everyone terrorist and then didn't want to meet with us. He was scared. He was scared that the government was going to get taken over and stuff like that. And that wasn't what it was all about at all. Okay, well, with the exception, the little thing with James and his little MOU, that wasn't about, we're going to go there and overthrow the government. That had nothing to do with that. It was just a little letter that he wanted to present to the Senate. You know, that's not taking over the government. Like, people weren't showing up with guns and swords and stuff like that. Like, come on. It's just plain ridiculousness. Yeah, okay. Michael, since you're new and not too bright, I'll fill you in on something. Whoa, I wonder what that is. I hate liberals and never voted Liberal or NDP in my life. I was at the border blockade defending Canadians. Yeah, exactly. Well, you're the exact kind of guy that should be a patriot. You know? Hang on here. Let me get this. My chroma key is going to hell because the sun is coming into the window here. So excuse the bad video here. This time of the day is right when our big ball of fire shines in through the window here. It starts to wreck my video. But as long as you can hear me, we're the main thing. JFK in there. Hey, good to see you. I do have a couple of people banned from the channel, and I'll tell you who they are. Cannabis Rex is banned, so don't come in here. And if you see Cannabis Rex or an alt of Cannabis Rex, just ban him from the channel. And Dean Wall is banned from the channel. Old Dean Wall, NDPer from somewhere back east there, where his NDP party probably didn't even get in. He's banned from the channel here. So those two are really pissed off, and they're always talking about me behind my back and, you know, doxing me and stuff like that. So to hell with them. They don't deserve to be in the channel here at all. So they're permanently banned until they say they're sorry or something like that, which probably will never happen. We would be doing much better reworking our oil royalties. Hey, it's not going to happen because you can't talk to Ottawa. Ottawa doesn't talk to us. Ottawa makes the rules. They don't listen to anything that Alberta has to say. And if anything, they want to tax oil more, right? They want to make oil, green oil. They want to bring in this carbon credit system. They want industrial taxes, which are exactly the things that tax oil. In other words, they want to suck more money out of oil production than is already there. You know that. In fact, even this MOU that they came up with between Carney and Danielle Smith, it was like, no, we're not going to build anything unless we tax the hell out of you guys. That's all that was. And, you know, Danielle Smith, she had no choice but to go along with it. You know that she hated it. You know that she didn't want to have anything to do with it, but she wanted to at least get something started to get an oil pipeline going, to get rid of those tanker bans and stuff like that. And hopefully at some point in the future, we get rid of the Liberal government, and then we get rid of all those stupid carbon taxes and net zero bullshit. You know, that's another good reason for us to become independent, is net zero. Net zero is stupid. It has been already proven to be harmful to other countries. Look at what it's done to Germany, where they got rid of their atomic energy production. They've gone to like solar panels and windmills, and now they're struggling with super expensive electricity that the industries are shutting down. And the same thing is happening in California, where great businesses that are already there, they've invested billions of dollars in their companies in California, they're moving out of there because they're going net zero. They're going solar panels and windmills. And the electricity is so expensive that the businesses can't operate. So they're not stupid. They're moving over to like places like Texas, where you have less priced energy, and you don't have all of the liberal Democrat woke crap to deal with. You know, it's more than just electricity prices, but it's also the type of political environment that you have to live under. It's craziness out there. Lease the oil and build the infrastructure that carries all the oil. Yeah, exactly, Daisy. Brett's part of the problem. Okay, we'll drop that link to the channel here, but I see we haven't gotten any donos at all on that little counter there for me to drop the link. If we get 5 donos in there, we will drop the link and we'll start a panel here. So we'll see what happens there. Well, you clearly don't know how oil royalties work. You still vote blue even though they're just as corrupt as the red. So what is exactly you think you know more or better? Yeah, well, you might vote blue, but blue doesn't win. Blue doesn't win. Right? Because they all vote red. They all vote liberal. And by time the votes are counted in Ontario, the election is over. It doesn't matter what you vote out here in Alberta because you have so few number of votes, so few number of seats that it doesn't matter. Like our politics are over once the clock closes and the votes are counted in Ontario. You know that. I know that. And for that reason, that's a good reason. That's another reason why Alberta should separate. So Alberta would be independent, is because we don't have any representation. Hey, the Liberals get in, and you know what? Carney doesn't even bring to Parliament any of his ideas that he's coming up with and spending money on to have Parliament vote on those issues. Do you notice that? All he's done is he's gotten into power, he's got a minority government, and he's spending money like crazy. Like crazy. Every time he gets up to the podium, he's spending a couple of $1 billion on this and a couple of billion on that, a couple on this, a couple on that. He's sending money to transgender or gender type things overseas. He's not getting us to vote on stuff like that. And you know damn well that we don't like it. We don't like it at all. Not at all. We have to do something about it. And independence is the only horse in town. That's all we could do. Hang on a second. Let me make my hat look a little bit better here. Oops, wrong way. Because of the sun coming in the window here, we're getting some aberration. There we go. That's a little bit better. Even get it better here. Hang on. Yeah, it's better there. Yeah, it's like weird sun here. I have all of my studio, all my settings set up for nighttime with artificial lighting. So once that sun is beaming into my eyes, which it is, it's right over here somewhere. Well, it's actually not really directly on me here now. So it's a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Daisy. Yeah. See, Daisy is American. Daisy's from Texas. So Daisy has a good outlook. Of course, she's a Trump supporter. But she's just watching from afar, Brett. She's watching us argue. She's watching you argue, me argue, and a few of the other people in the chat. But she's watching from Texas. She has a better understanding of what's going on and has an opinion on that. So there you go. Got Masad in there. Good to see you. Get rid of Carney, says Barrett. Yeah, exactly. No doubt about that. We have to do that. Brett says people that vote establishment blue are no better or worse than those that vote establishment red. Yeah, I know. But Brett, those are the two main parties that have a potential to form a minority or a majority government. All other parties are just noise. So if you vote for the noise, you're just throwing your vote away. That's the way it works. You can say, well, government's broken. Yeah. Well, how are you going to fix it? And are you going to fix it by complaining about it? Or are you going to vote for somebody and then try and petition them to do something for you to make a change? You could start your own party and, try and make that kind of a change, but at the moment, you can't do anything about it. It is what it is. You may not like it, but just complaining about it and not actually doing something, and really starting your own party is the only thing that you can do. So if you're not doing that, then all you're doing is just complaining. I go like this. I go, well, okay, what are your best chances? It's like a horse race, right? Are you going to bet on the worst horse there and hope that it gets in? Or are you going to look at the track record of the two main horses or three main horses that could potentially win the race and put your money on one of them? Like, really, honestly, that's what it's all about. Because you want that party that gets in to do better for you. If you vote liberal, you're hoping that the liberals are going to make life better for you. But in fact, people are voting liberal, and Carney is actually making life worse for you. He's taxing you more. He's bringing in carbon taxes. He's spending money like crazy on stuff, which is going to increase inflation. He's doing all kind of stuff which is going to harm you and make life worse for you. Whereas at least Pierre Poilievre is coming out with policies that are going to reduce inflation, reduce food prices. He's got a plan for housing. He's got a plan to, for example, defund the CBC. You know how many billions of dollars are paid to the CBC? And they're the worst because they're so frickin' lefty liberal that they're like, they make communism look good. Like, really, honestly. And the government is throwing so much money out the window to CBC. That's your money. That's my money. That's coming out of the tax money that you're sending to the federal government. And that's coming out of the Alberta coffers here as well. That's another reason to have independence, is that bloody CBC. They are so lefty that it makes me puke every time I turn them on. I listen to CBC radio. They're always talking about native stuff. They're bashing Trump. They're talking about immigration. And they just bash right wingers on their programs all the time. It's like I said, it makes me sick every time I turn them on. Like even on Mother's Day, you know who they had on Mother's Day? They had some transgender person on there that they were interviewing on Mother's Day. Like that's what CBC does. They do bullshit like that, which is not what I'm paying for. It's not what I want, and it's not good for society. They're like a left-wing, radical left-wing organization. That's all that CBC is. Really crazy. And you're spending your money for CBC. Well, I hope that they're representing you and talking about stuff that you like, because they certainly aren't talking about anything that I like. Thank God for a little bit of social media so that we can at least come on here and spout off a little bit about what we think, because that's absolutely ridiculous. CBC, Communist Broadcasting Corporation. Freaking ridiculous. Sick and tired of the bullshit that they spew over there. Crazy. Absolute craziness. Okay, let's go over some of the stuff that I have here. Hang on. Meanwhile, if you guys want a panel, shoot me a couple of donos. If we get 5 out of 5, we had 1 hour to do it. We may not get it. We have 1 hour. Clock is ticking. So we do a panel or not here today. So I may not do a panel, depending on what happens. Let me move that out of there and go over a few stories here. If my thing works here. Oh, yeah, it's working. Okay, the first story is, of course, this one here, where we have a conservative MP, Matt Genero, is he said that he was going to stop being an MP and just, go home or whatever. But he is apparently joining up with the Liberals is what he's up to there now. So that's a pretty sad thing there. What do you folks, what do you wonder? Why is Canada broken? It's backroom deals, bribery. People want to chastise me for being an Alberta independence type person. Yeah. This is, pretty bad when stuff like this happens. So he's voted in, I think in Edmonton, he's an MP in Edmonton. The very few number of conservative voters in Edmonton voted for him. So what does he do? He just plain crosses the floor and pisses off all of the conservative voters that voted for him. And so now he's joined up with Carney and the Liberals. He's like a complete, if you want to talk about traitors, guys, if you think that Albertans are traitors, guys like this are traitors for being elected as a conservative and then jumping over and becoming a liberal, joining forces with the Liberals. So shame on you, Matt Genero. That's just pissy politics right there. You don't get voted in by a whole bunch of people in one area, and then you go, oh, I think that all of my people that voted me in don't actually want me to be a conservative. They want me to be a liberal. So I'll just join up with Carney. Plus he's the leader. He's not in the opposition. So I don't know. Maybe there's some perks or something like that he'll get. I don't know. I really don't know. Sorry on the vertical. If you're watching on the vertical, click on my name and come on over to the horizontal feed, because over here on the horizontal feed, you're able to see the stuff that I'm posting. Vertical is like, I see my face there and it's like, oh, you can see about this much. And it's more of a horizontal feed. So come on over to the horizontal. All you do is you click my name on the feed and then go over to lives, and you'll see there's 2 lives running, one horizontal and one vertical. So just come on over to the horizontal where more of the action is happening, and you will be a happier camper. No doubt. Okay. Here is a new thing happening, and it appears to be an independence dinner, an independence talk happening in Rimbey, Alberta on February the 18th. So if you see there, head down there. You can get some pierogies with fried onions, some bacon, sausage. Wow, it's making me hungry there. Yeah. But come on down for a little meal, a little redneck meal, and some independence. Come on down. You'll enjoy it. That's one of the things happening there. Hey. Looking good. Looking very good. Okay, we have our good friend Danielle Smith, who's a very nice person. We'll put her in the middle here. Bell, Calgary Herald. Daniel Smith insists Alberta's separatist vote isn't scaring off investors. So you get people like Brett there that go, oh, you guys are scaring off, and liberals are all saying that too. Oh, your talk of independence is scaring off investors. Nobody wants to invest in Alberta. No, the premier of our province is saying that's all bullshit. Okay? The separatist vote, it's independence. The haters use the term separatist, right? I like to use the term independent. We want independence. But the independence vote is not scaring off investors. So says Daniel Smith, our premier. And I tend to believe her and not the bullshit Calgary Herald or Edmonton Journal or any of that Bell type stuff. Yeah, so let's go with that. Investors are still coming to the province. We're doing well. We're still in business. We're still making money. And, at this point in time, we've got a lot of people on board that want independence. And, We'll go with that. And here's another little picture of the dude that wants to cross floors. Matt Genero is joining the Liberal caucus, Carney says. And that's him there. Oh, yeah. Well, what's with the peace sign there? What's that all about? The guy's a traitor. Like, if you want to call anyone a traitor, that's being a traitor. Switching over to like the exact opposite political party. Like, come on. Doesn't get any worse than that. Craziness. And then you've got BC, province of BC, run by the NDP. You've got them coming in with a 13.3 billion deficit for 2026-27, largest in the province's history, which is absolute craziness. Like the liberals and the NDP, they don't like to save money. They like to spend money, right? It's the conservative side of the fence, the right-wing side of the fence, where they get in, like Trump. What does Trump do? He brings in Doge, and what does Doge do? Doge tries to save money by going into the government and cutting out all the bloated programs and crap like that they're spending money on, right? He tries to save money and not to be spending a whole bunch of money. And that's where people that get into politics, and I noticed this myself, because I got involved a little bit into politics, but it was more of a local area that I live in, right? I got involved with them, and they got some money, from the city. It was like a local thing, and they got city funds that came in, and everyone had to come up with ideas of how to blow that money. And the whole thing is that if you had money coming in, you had to find a way to blow it, or spend it, whatever. And, instead of spending it on something really nice, and I thought, let's put up a statue in our area on the corner that represents, the people that were here and the people that were here in days gone by. But they ended up spending it on a book on some unknown person that nobody would buy. And they just blew literally thousands and thousands of dollars on producing this book or something, which I didn't even buy one myself, whereas I would have loved to see that statue. Statue would have been a way nicer thing. It would be something that everybody in the community could enjoy, or something like a water park or something like that would have been good too. But what governments do is they take the money that comes in and they spend it. They spend it, and they don't have any inkling of saving any money at all. Governments are not like you or I, where we go, oh man, I got to save some money. I'm spending too much, so I'm not going to have enough money at the end of the month. No, they go out and even borrow even more money, right? If they've spent everything that they have, they'll borrow. So then all of a sudden they're paying interest on all the stuff. It's like ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. Okay, but that's it. We've got Alberta. Doge in the Constitution. Here's our symbol for Alberta. It's we got the old doggy dog there. And let's see what else we've got there. Hang on, let me move this up a little bit here. And then down below, you've got every project, every ministry, every 2 years. They need transparency and accountability for all. And that's what we're not getting in Canada at our federal level. We're not getting any Doge whatsoever. There's no accountability whatsoever for whatever the federal government is doing. And we're all paying for it. And that's another reason why we need independence. You can see they want us to put up all those windmills and stuff like that, and shut down those those oil wells, oil derricks and stuff like that. That's what Ottawa wants us to do. And we're going like, no, not going to happen. Not going to happen on my watch. Here's another big one here. Where this one here, this is a heartbreaking story that the healthcare system in Canada just killed another innocent Canadian after being released, and then another 11-hour wait in the ER. Stacey Ross went into cardiac arrest and died, is what this story is all about here. Let's listen to this.
Stacey Ross was just 55 years old when she died after waiting 11 hours in a Winnipeg emergency room in January.
My mother's death should never have happened. She could have been saved.
Morgan Ross said her mom went to St. Boniface Hospital on January 4th with severe chest pain. After a 12-hour wait, she was told it was a virus and was sent home. But she returned by ambulance on January 15th and waited another 11 hours before being admitted. Morgan says hospital officials later said the wait killed her mom.
My mother was taken from me. She wanted to live. She did everything possible to live, and the Canada healthcare system killed her.
Stacey's sister, Sherry Ross. Stacey Ross was just 50.
There you go. She was 50-some years old, and she died. Why did she die? They won't tell you, but I will. Liberal mass immigration. I'm the only one that has the balls to actually say that, but you know, they're going to go, oh, he's racist for saying that. No, I'm not racist for saying that. I'm just telling you the way it is. Mass immigration is what makes 11-hour lineups at the hospital. It's, hospital and healthcare is economics 101. Supply and demand. If you don't have enough supply, you're going to have long waiting lineups, right? You don't have enough hospitals, you don't have enough hospital staff, and you have way too many people needing those resources. They're going to be lineups. There's going to be 11-hour lineups at the hospital. Exactly. Liberal mass immigration. I'm surprised that you said that, because you're usually on the side of on the left side of things there. But yeah, this is it exactly. Like, I'm the only one, and there's other guys that have programs, like Brian Jesperson in Edmonton here. He does a program, and I'm in his chat all the time. He gets these guys coming on there, like doctors and all kind of stuff, and they're all belly aching about lineups at the hospitals and not enough stuff at the hospitals. And they're all blaming the province. Oh, it is the province's fault. They're not spending enough money. They need to spend more money. The province needs to spend more money. We need more money. It's all money, 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 money. Like I said, it's all based on money. Everything is based on money. If you don't have enough money, you don't have enough hospitals. And if you don't have enough money, you don't have enough schools. You don't have enough doctors. You don't have enough nurses. And the province runs at a deficit. We send a lot of our tax dollars over to Ottawa, and Ottawa only sends a little bit back to the province for healthcare. Not enough to be able to build those hospitals and those things like that we need. If you have more money going out to Ottawa and going over to Quebec and Ontario, then you don't have enough money to spend on your own hospitals and things like that in your own provinces. And that goes for Manitoba and for all the provinces. And the other thing is, it's a matter of money. But on top of that, if we have enough hospitals and we have enough staff, then it's not a money problem. But if you bring in mass immigration, like just millions of people, and your systems are overloaded by all of the mass immigration, then you're going to have long lineups, supply and demand. Only so much hospital, and you have millions of people that need to use those resources. So therefore, there's going to be lineups at the emergencies, right? 10-hour lineups. Of what you said there, 11-hour wait in the ER. That's what I see right here in Edmonton at the Alberta or University Hospital. That's what it's called here. It's close by to where I live here. Anytime that I've ever been in there, it has been an 8 to 12 hour wait before you're seen by a doctor or a nurse or anybody. Okay. And that's what's happening. They go, okay, you just wait over there. And when it's your turn, you can come and see us. And people are dying waiting. Or what happens is they don't even see the doctor because after 6 hours worth of waiting, they go, oh, this is bullshit. I just want to get out of here. Because when you're sitting there, it's like crying kids, lunatics that are like doing crazy stuff. You got drug addicts that are in there. It's like being, like I said, it's like being in a third world or something in there, sitting in an emergency waiting room. Go and see. If you don't believe me, go and see for yourself. It's craziness out there. So this poor woman died because she was waiting 11 hours in the hospital before she could see a doctor. Sad. Absolutely sad. And then you got people like this. She's a streamer. She's a left-wing streamer. A left-wing streamer. Her show is called the O Show. O Show. And really, honestly, she is just typical of the liberals out there because all she does is bellyache on her show. She doesn't like the fact that Alberta is wants independence. She's like an elbows up liberal. And anytime you talk about this elbows up thing, it's like, oh, you're mocking the elbows up thing of us liberals, and you're just anyways, you got to hear. Just, I'm not kidding. Liberal lunatic is what she is here. The elbows uppers are batshit crazy. They probably wore 3 masks during COVID. Needless to say, they've had at least 15 jabs. And she's pissed off that people even talk about the elbows up crap. It's all bullshit. Keep that in mind.
We're not only in a trade war, we might be in real war. And the last thing we need is for anybody to take our patriotic battle cry of elbows up to Canadians and mock it and put it down. When Pierre Poilievre says elbows down, he is echoing MAGA talking points and attacks on our country. You can criticize Mark.
Oh yeah. And the liberals constantly use the term MAGA because MAGA is really, really a dirty word. The liberals have made MAGA into a dirty word, and then they use it against you. If you're a conservative in Canada, they will label you a MAGA, okay? And so you're a bad MAGA person because you're somehow associated with Donald Trump. Even though we don't live in the States, we live in Canada. We have nothing whatsoever to do with MAGA, but they will use it against any conservative and call you MAGA. Right? Keep that in mind too. This is something that these people do all the time.
We're not only in a trade war, we might be in real war. And the last thing we need is for anybody to take our patriotic battle cry of elbows up to Canadians and mock it and put it down. When Pierre Poilievre says elbows down, he is echoing MAGA talking points and attacks on our country. You can criticize Mark Carney all you want. It's your job. But you don't have to do it by denigrating Canada's sense of power and purpose and patriotism in this critical moment for our sovereignty and our economy. We're not only in a trade war, we might...
Oh, jeez. Shut up. That's your typical liberal right there. Just a belly aching, screaming, screeching liberal woman. There's nothing worse than that in this world. Absolutely nothing worse than a liberal woman. If she was in the States, she'd be going, ice, 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 ice. Down with ice. Holy shit. Can't make this shit up. But yeah, she's been brainwashed. She's been drinking a little too much of the Kool-Aid. The O Show. Don't watch her. I don't recommend you watch her. Do not watch the O Show. Well, put it this way. You're not going to handle watching the O show. Maybe you like it, though. I don't know. It's always that possibility. But me personally, not so much. Okay. Meanwhile, we're all for Alberta. We love our Alberta flag, our Alberta emblem. I don't know if it will change when we become independent. It may very well change. I'm not sure what we're going to do about money. Whether maybe Alberta will start using the American dollar. There are other countries in the world that use the American dollar. We don't necessarily need to use the Canadian dollar. That means I'll have to convert all my loonies into American eagles and stuff like that. You know, there's always that thought. So we'll have to just see what happens there if Alberta becomes independent. So far, the numbers are 41% of Albertans want independence. 41%. So it looks pretty good. Looks pretty damn good. Damn good. Here's what it looks like living in Canada. Okay. There's Brett. He's the Canadian patriot. There's Brett. And there's little old, one of our Alberta cowgirls there down below. And yeah, I hate you, but you're never leaving me, is what Canada is saying to Alberta here. This is where we're at, Brett. We're like in a bad marriage. Alberta's in a bad marriage with Canada. And what do? Do you just leave it? You just let it fester? Let it go along? Let us continue to be beat up? Taken advantage of? Or do you do something about it? Exactly. Of course she has a black eye. Yeah. Can't make this stuff up. Can't make this stuff up. But, you know, Canada is absolutely taking advantage of Alberta. And, you know, there it is. I hate you, but you're never leaving me. And they're going to do, this is where your liberals, like Osho, she's like part of that bad Canada there, trying to take advantage of us out here in Alberta. She doesn't even live in Alberta, I bet. She's like, someone over in Ontario is like, oh, you bad people in Alberta wanting to just separate. Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, we know what's going on. But there's us in Alberta, and we felt like that for the longest time. And we're sick and tired. We're fed up. And we want change. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with voting for change. Brett, you believe in democracy. We're doing it democratically by voting. You know, hey, so you guys are going, oh, you're a traitor and you're not a patriot and you're this and you're not that and blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit. At the end of the day, we're doing what we want to do and we're doing it democratically. So if you don't like it, you know what? You can always move to BC. You know? NDP BC. You can always do that. Toast to all those awesome Canadians standing up to these separatist fools. Yeah, that's what this one says here. So you can see there's your Canadian. Instead of talking nicely to us, what they're doing is they're even treating us even worse by trying to kick us out. You see that? There's me, the little guy in the blue there, the separatist there, with holding the Exit Alberta sign there. And there's the rest of Canada, you know, saying no separatist, no UCP. That's the United Conservative Party. And they're just trying to boot us. Yeah, well, you know what? If you're going to boot us, we'll vote. You don't need to boot us out. We'll actually have a vote and we'll leave democratically. Okay? Sorry that the picture isn't small for the vertical. If you're watching on the vertical, come on over to the horizontal feed. I've got two feeds going today, one vertical, one horizontal. And the video is like way, way, way better on the horizontal side. So just saying that, guys, because I can see there's people watching over on the vertical there. The vertical is just to get your attention. Then come on over and then sub up to the channel over on the vertical side. By the way, yeah, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a share, and sub up to the channel. Hit that subscription button. Hopefully we're earning your subscription with the broadcast here today. Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. And somebody says on that post, Nicole says, I think it's hilarious that these federalists think this meme is somehow standing up to Albertans who want independence. This shows exactly what Alberta secessionists want. Kick us out of consideration. Cut us off, please. There you go. So, you know, the people that don't like the fact that we're separating come up with memes like this. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what you've been doing all along. Is you've been making us, turning us into bootlickers the whole bloody time. And now you're making a meme saying, well, we'll just kick you out of Canada. Hey, you don't have to kick us out. We'll leave all on our own. It's like being abused by your husband. Well, you don't need him kicking you out of the house. You'll leave all on your own. That's exactly what we're doing. So sad. So sad. Too bad. And here we see with this meme here, Alberta doesn't have to go down with the ship. Canada is in really bad shape. Really bad shape. Economically, there's practically no GDP coming out of Canada except for the fact that you bring in immigrants in to bolster your GDP. You know, what kind of a country is that where your whole GDP is based on you bringing new immigrants into the country in order to survive? Unbelievable. But here you can see that the meme is the ship is going down, but there's us in Alberta. We're on the lifeboat, and we'll survive. But the rest of you on that Canadian ship, you're going to go down without Alberta. Of course, you'll never go down, but financially, you'll be in pretty bad shape. In fact, you'll be in so bad shape that probably the United States will say, hey, you guys don't have any money. You need some money? We'll give you some money, but you have to become the 51st state. That's what's going to happen to the rest of Canada. As the ship goes down, you'll get rescued by the United States. Meanwhile, Alberta will be buoyantly living on in prosperity. And in fact, with all of the resources in Alberta, we will be like Qatar. We're like a country like Qatar with 5 million people and lots of money, lots of wealth, and to be able to buy lots of stuff. Who knows? We might even get checks back on an annual basis from the government, from all of the oil royalties that we have in the province here. Keep that in mind. Just like in Alaska. You know how Alaskans get $1,000 a year from the oil reserves? Yeah, well, we can do that in Alberta here as well. It'll be joyous. Absolutely joyous. It will be a good thing. Keep that in mind. Oops. Let me go back here. Okay, we don't have any donations to the stream at all. Like I said, if we got 5 $2 donations, then I'll open up the StreamYard link. I'll drop that StreamYard link, and we can have some guests come on the program. But otherwise, you're just going to have to listen to me banter on here for a little while as I present to you some information here as to what's happening. Here we can see the WEF says you will own nothing. The government of Canada and other governments are implementing policies to take away your homes, take away your cars, take away your guns, take away your land, take away your land ownership, your home ownership. You'll be renting. Take away your industries, shut them down, tax them to death, carbon tax them. And they're trying to take away your freedoms. Unbelievable. Perhaps it's time to fight back. Perhaps it's time to fight back. Let me see what the fight back is here. Hang on. I like that picture. That's nice. Reset that a little bit. There are over 40,000 family farms in Alberta who will lose their land if we do not separate because of the climate proposals that the federal government is wanting to implement. There are over 1 million people who drive trucks in Alberta who will lose their trucks if we do not separate. Auto ban, drive electric, climate laws. There are over 500,000 people employed as a result of the Alberta oil and gas sector who will lose their careers if we do not separate. Climate laws. There are over 5 million people in Alberta who will lose their freedom if we do not separate. The federal government wants to ban free speech. Forced medical treatments like vaccinations and fluoride, digital currency, digital ID. The federal government wants to oppress us. With Alberta separation, we will lose none of these and can remove the policies that would make us own nothing, lose our freedom. You will have nothing, but yet you'll feel good. It'll be inevitable that you will not feel good. So if you suckers and the rest of Canada, if you want all that bullshit, well, stay in Canada. Stay in Canada, because you know damn well that that's exactly what's happening. And you guys go, oh, Tommy Temper, you sit there and you lie all day long. All you do is you say lies. You're just a liar. You don't tell the truth. No, I tell the truth. I just speak common sense. This stuff is common sense. But, you guys out there tend not to want to believe common sense. You just, believe the bullshit that Carney is coming out, the federal government. Separation is inevitable. It is. I would agree with that 100%. And I stand with the rednecks that you see here in the field. The rednecks that you see are the people that are the backbone of Alberta and are the backbone of the financial gains that the rest of Canada is loving. These are the people here that are doing it. The movers, the shakers. These are the voters that are voting. This is the 41%. The people that actually have jobs, the people that are actually working, the people that are actually bringing food onto your plate. Some people think otherwise. And some people say that the natural resources are the property of the federal government, and they don't belong to Alberta. So if Alberta separates, we won't have access, or that money won't stay in Alberta. Yeah, well, guess what? There is this Natural Resources Transfer Act of 1930 where the federal government transferred ownership and control. All crown lands, mines, minerals, royalties, and water powers within Alberta were handed over to the provincial government. This included subsurface rights, oil, gas, coal, etc. So for those of you that say, oh, if you guys separate, well, all of your oil and natural resources will still belong to Canada. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Here's my good friend, John, where he was outside of Rogers Place, and he was talking to a few people there.
Hey, what's your opinion on Alberta?
Okay, where he was asking a few people on their opinion on Alberta independence. And basically, and I met John 2 weekends ago on Saturday. And I actually asked him if he would come on my program and be a guest on my program. And actually, I gave him my phone number, and I have his phone number. I could actually phone him and get him as a guest on my program here, but I'm doing so well by myself here right now that, and we're not dropping that link for the StreamYard. So far we don't have any guests coming on here to debate anything. But anyways, John was outside of Rogers Place, the place where the Oilers play hockey. He was there before an Oilers game, and he asked people about Alberta independence. Apparently one woman told him it was the worst idea ever, and then walked away without wanting to talk. That moment says a lot about modern politics. Ideas get dismissed without discussion. Meanwhile, governments build relationships with authoritarian regimes that don't respect freedom or human rights while risking a relationship with the United States, Alberta's closest ally and largest trading partner. And have you noticed that the federal government in Canada despises the United States? They throw them under the bus. They say disparaging things about them all the time. And, you guys are our largest. 75% of our trade is with the United States. That is absolutely the worst thing you could do is disparage your largest trading partner, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to really tariff you to death and make sure that that you lose big time, which is exactly what's happening. And Carney is not negotiating with Trump whatsoever with anything. And, me sitting here watching and understanding exactly how Trump thinks, and knowing that Carney is not trying to work with Trump whatsoever, but he stands up at Davos there at the WEF and just disparages Trump all to hell, that pissing him off. And then he expects to make some kind of a trade deal. What kind of bullshit is that? For the record, not everyone felt that way. During filming, others openly said they support Alberta independence. Positive reactions just don't always go viral. The conversation about Alberta's future should be peaceful, open, and democratic. Not one-sided by us, not one-sided by you. Telling people to put a name on a rope or something like that is not constructive conversation. I'll tell you right now. Come on. We can do better. We can do way better.
Hey, what's your opinion on Alberta independence?
Worst idea ever.
Why do you say that?
You don't know the repercussions.
Well, I'd like to have a polite conversation if you're willing. Okay. Worst idea ever. It's like, okay, well, I'm sure there's some worse ideas. Maybe getting in bed with China. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Do you support Alberta independence?
Yeah. He brings up a good point. I haven't even talked about China at all today, but very good point. Carney is he disparages Trump and then right away is on his jet over to China to make a deal on bringing in 50,000 Chinese spy cars into Canada, for God's sakes.
Yeah, you do. Can I ask you a few questions?
We're running late, sorry.
Okay, hey, God bless you.
Next time, maybe.
Yeah, take care. Worst idea ever. Probably a worse idea is actually what Carney's doing right now, is jumping in bed with all the communists. It's like, what a great idea, eh?
Very true, John.
A totalitarian dictatorship that has terrible human rights records, and we're just going to go and start cozying up to them and pissing off our closest ally and trading partner. That's probably a worse idea. Hey, what's your opinion on Alberta independence?
Worst idea ever.
Why?
Yeah. Okay. So definitely there is that segment of the population. That was done in Edmonton, hockey game there. So that's probably, she's an Albertan, and she's thinking that independence is the worst idea ever. So yeah, it is what it is. You can't please everybody. there are going to be those dissenters that are going to think, well, this is not good for Canada, which of course, yeah, Alberta leaving Canada is not a good thing for Canada at all. Not at all. Canada is going to lose big time. But you know what? They're going to lose because they didn't listen to Alberta. They didn't work with Alberta. They just used us as their cash cow. You know, it's like a sugar daddy, right? Or Canada is the gold digger for Canada. Thanks a lot for that super chat from Howard. Howard, thank you very much. Do appreciate that. We've got one super chat coming in. Oh, hopefully it makes that counter go a little bit there. But thanks a lot for that super chat. We'll open up that panel if we get 5 super chats. So thanks a lot for that. For the first one, Howard, for helping out the stream here a little bit. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Here's a picture. It's just a photograph, but this is one of the locations that was set up. Grassroots. This is all grassroots, by the way. It's like there are a few people that are spokesmen at the top of the Alberta independence thing, but the Alberta independence thing has been a grassroots thing where a lot of people are just so pissed off at Ottawa and where Alberta is with Ottawa that they're fed up. So a couple of people got together and said, hey, you know what, why don't we start it was the Prosperity Group, and then it's changed to a different name there, the Freedom Group, and the rest is history. Alberta separation, grassroots and peaceful, no shiny bus, no NGO funding, no corruption. Albertans are working for Alberta. This is what being an Albertan is all about. And this guy here, he is one of the, I think there are at least 4,500 people that are set up to, get people to sign up. And that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think that I've seen other reports of numbers even higher than that, but I know that there's at least 4,500 people that are canvassers that are going out and setting up just like him, middle of nowhere, at a mall, at a market or somewhere where people congregate, and getting people to sign up. And this is what it's all about. It's a grassroots thing. No, you notice that he doesn't even have some kind of a sign that was a money, where somebody's given money or some corporation is involved with it. This is all just the people. Sign here. He made his own sign. People are doing their own things and getting involved. I'm not out there collecting signatures. By rights, I probably should be, but I'm doing the best I can to try and promote independence by getting on my social media things here. Now, you guys are going, yeah, but Tommy, there's only 44 people watching. And only 10 people watching or whatever on YouTube on the 2 different feeds here, or that there's only a couple of people watching on Facebook or only a couple of people watching on X. We're streaming to all of those things. But you know what? When I do these streams, for example, on Facebook, I get thousands of views on Facebook, literally thousands of views, like unbelievable. I get like way more traction over on Facebook than I do on YouTube. And on YouTube, at the end of my stream, I look at the number of people that have actually watched it, especially after it sits there seasoning for a couple of days, because not everyone can watch something live. And I get literally thousands of people watch these feeds. So I know that we're getting traction out there from lots of people. Maybe, hey, my channel is not as big as some of the other streamers out there, but it's all a matter of subs. The more subs you have, the more people are going to be watching. By the way, thanks a lot. Appreciate anybody that subs up to the channel while we're live here. Thank you very much. And I see we've gotten some subs here already. And yeah, I do appreciate people subbing up to the channel. It gives us more relevance. Also, thumbs up. Give us lots of thumbs up if you're watching there. If you're watching on the vertical, double tap your screen. Give us tap. That way it'll give us a thumbs up. Otherwise, hit that thumb on the horizontal. Looking good. Looking beautiful. And of course, we talked about who is the face, the man that is in charge of the whole thing. You know, the guy, if I would put a face to the top dog with independence, it would probably be this lawyer. His name is Jeff Rath. And lately, there have been incidences of people harassing the people that have been gathering signatures, and it's not good. So Jeffrey has something to say to you people that might be harassing any canvassers out there. Let's listen.
Under the Elections Act, they can be fined $25,000 and be subject to jail if they are physically interfering with canvassing, because canvassing for citizens initiative petition, because this is a sanctioned Elections Alberta process, in the same way that having a ballot on election day is a sanctioned process. If you go into a polling place and disrupt the polling place, you will be arrested. Well, I'm calling out to all of our canvassers that if any of these jackwagons show up where you're at, get out your camera, film them, take video of them, take pictures of their snarling little lefty faces, and phone the police, have them arrested. Get their license plate numbers, $25,000 fines, right? And I think it's time that we all,
So
start
when you say they can't, physically disrupt the process, would someone who's driving by a polling station and who rolls down their window and starts hurling insults at the canvassers or whatever, would that constitute an offense?
That'd be borderline. That's more freedom of speech. And I think we all have to be big boys and big girls. I mean, if people, if that's all they've got, if that's their only argument, against independence, it just goes to show how weak the argument is for Alberta staying in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would say no. That's, like he says, freedom of speech on something like that. But there have been cases where people have gotten into altercations with the people collecting signatures. So that's kind of more of what he's talking about.
Under the Elections Act, they can be fined $25,000.
Yeah,
and
exactly. It can be very expensive for the person that's doing that. Here's another shot of what it looks like out there on the petition signing. I don't know, at a canvasser's site, and just look at that. They set up their own things. They got some tables set up there, and you usually see lots of Alberta flags, like you see right there. In fact, on the convoy that I went on, almost everyone had an Alberta flag, either a huge one, or you can get those little ones that clip on your windows. So the actual sign or indication of independence in Alberta is flying the Alberta flag. And you'll actually see that in front of people's houses too. You know that if you're driving down the street and you see somebody flying the Alberta flag, that they're somebody that is pro-independence. And it's just amazing the number of people that are out there. Like I said, 4,500 people have been signed up as canvassers already. And if each one of them, I think, gets, I forget what the number was now, if each one of them gets 200 people to sign up, let me pull my calculator out here, handy dandy calculator, and where it happened to my icons get moved around. Oh, there it is, calculator. Okay, so if I do a quick thing on that, 4,500 times 200 signatures equals 900,000. So if they got, let me just go backwards on that, 1 million. Okay, if we want to get 1 million signatures, we divide that by 4,500. That equals 222. So out of the 4,500 people collecting signatures. If each one of them gets 222 signatures, that is 1 million signatures. Now, I know there are some guys already, like Marty up north, who's a streamer, who goes out to some corner in the middle of nowhere, and he gets people signing up. I know that he's got probably closer to 1,000 signatures, just that one guy. So for the average person, if they actually go out a number of weekends or something like that, it will be very, very easy to get 222 signatures, which means that there will be over 1 million signatures on that plebiscite, which those are people that are going to vote for independence. That's what that means, which is an incredible thing. This thing is really going big. So for those of you naysayers out there, go, oh, it's not going to happen. It's just bullshit. It's, just craziness. You guys are all crazy and you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's happening. In fact, I even spotted this. Look at this. This is Alberta Freedom signing event where they're getting signatures for this down in Yuma, Arizona. A signing event in Yuma, Arizona. Unbelievable that because, at this time of the year, you have so many people from Alberta that basically are sunbirds or snowbirds rather, not sunbirds. Snowbirds is what they call them. When it snows up in Alberta, they go south. And from Alberta, they don't usually go to Florida, but they go down to Arizona. So you got just a ton of people that live down in Arizona in the wintertime, and then they come back up. In fact, my neighbor is not at Sylvan Lake. My neighbor that lives right next door to me, he's down south in Arizona. So he's one of those guys that are down there. And, they're advertising down there that you can sign that thing. They're at Martha's Garden, Yuma, Arizona. Sign the independence petition. And it's a real thing. It's happening. So it's even spreading down to the states there that we're trying to get those people to sign up that are not even in Alberta, but are down there doing the holiday thing. It's a holiday. It's a holiday. And then people are putting up this thing all over the place. They're changing their avatars to this, which is kind of cool. Let me just move me out of here so you can see it a little better. They're displaying this avatar and they're posting this thing all over the place. That once they sign that petition, then they've got that as their avatar. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Others won't. If you're liberal or, leaning on that side where you don't like independence, well, of course you don't like to see stuff like that. You go, oh, that's pretty cringy. I don't like that. That's terrible. It's a terrible thing. No, I don't think so. And then what are we going to call Alberta once we become independent? Are we going to call the whole thing the Republic of Alberta? Is that what we're going to become? Now there's, and those naysayers, and I just hate it. They all go, oh, you're all going to become the 51st state. Like you're just a bunch of American MAGA types and you want Alberta to become the 51st state. To that, I would say we are a democracy. We are a province of democratic people. We are going to vote on whether or not we are going to become independent. And that means independent from Canada and independent from the United States. If we become the Republic of Alberta, we are our own entity. We are not the 51st state. And nobody so far that I know of is saying that we're going to separate and become the 51st state. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what anybody is saying. There might be a couple of people out there that think that, You know, there's always the few in the numbers. But my own way of thinking is that because we're a democracy, and if we become the Republic of Alberta, and that's what we call Alberta, fine. But because we're a democracy, we don't just, like right away jump in and become the 51st state. That will be something that the people of the Republic of Alberta will vote for, democratically vote. They'll make a ballot and it will say, do you wish the Republic of Alberta to become the 51st state of America? And then we'll vote on it. And if 51% of the people say, yes, we want that, then we'll be that. But otherwise, if it's a no, then we won't be that. So there's no such thing as, they're going to separate and right away become the 51st state. No, that's not the way it works. Like, I know if you're down in the States, if you're American, you're probably thinking that that's what's going to happen. But, my explaining of it is makes a little bit more sense. And, people are saying, well, the United States will take you over. Well, it's the same thing. Okay, the United States is going to take over Qatar. Qatar has a bunch of oil and is a small country and can easily be taken over by the States. Is the States taking over Qatar? They're not. They're leaving them alone because there are laws in place by, at an upper level that countries are countries, and you don't just go and take over a country. I don't see the U.S. taking over Mexico or taking over Argentina or Chile or any place like that either. Those are sovereign countries, and the United States leaves people alone. The only time that I see the United States gets involved in anything is when there's stuff going on politically that they don't like. They don't like the leaders of the country. For example, what happened in Venezuela. There's things like that. But there's no reason to try and meddle with a sovereign Alberta because we have resources, but you guys have access to our resources. So why take over Alberta when you already have access to our oil? If you want anything else that's within our country, you just simply make a deal with us to, for example, mine, whatever minerals. Let's say you want coal or you want some other minerals that we might have. You make a deal with us. You come in here with your corporations and you mine whatever it is, and we tax whatever it is, have royalties on whatever it is that you're pulling out of the ground, and you take whatever you want. You don't need to take us over. You just make a deal. We'll make deals with you. We'll make deals with the UK or with anybody. It's that's the way the world works. But anyways, the name of our province is going to change to the Republic of Alberta, and we won't be the province of Canada, and we'll say bye-bye to those of you living in Ontario and Quebec who really doesn't appreciate our money anyways, because you never say thank you to us at all. It's always like just a kick in the teeth and like, oh, we're going to cap your oil. We're going to make sure you don't have any pipelines, and we're going to ban tankers in BC so that you can't ship anything out. And we want all your tax money, and we'll take your tax money and we'll take equalization payments over here. But you guys can just suffer over there, have people dying in your hospitals and have crappy health care because there's so many immigrants coming in. Yeah, we'll just keep flooding you with immigrants over there. No, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, we're going to put a stop to all this excess immigration. This is just complete ridiculousness. We've been taken advantage so much by those liberals out east that it's ridiculous. And we are absolutely sick and tired of the abuse already. We're the we're the woman that's being abused by the dominant man. I showed you that meme there a little bit earlier. And it's sad. It's absolutely sad. But you guys, you guys put the writing on the wall. Absolutely. And There was a time, by the way, not long ago, when the Conservatives unapologetically rejected and detested separatists. So this is back in the old days with Harper, Stephen Harper. This is what he thought about separatists. Now, at this time, I think he's probably talking about the Quebecois, but still, they're separatists.
The highest principle of Canadian democracy is that if you want to be Prime Minister, you get your mandate from the Canadian people.
And just remember, though, that at the federal level, they don't want any separation of any province. They're like the Federalists, right? Borders around Canada, sovereign Canada. But you know what? Our borders are down. We don't like those loose borders. We don't like those terrorists coming in. We don't like the federal government inviting terrorists into our country. There's another reason for separation right there.
Mr. Speaker, this deal that the leader of the Liberal Party has made with the separatists is a betrayal of the voters of this country, a betrayal of the best interests of our economy, a betrayal of the best interests of our country, and we will fight it with every means. Mr. Speaker, not a single member of this House, not even a member of the Bloc, received a mandate to have a government in which the separatists would be part of the coalition. Mr. Speaker, if the leader of the opposition thinks he has support for this, he should have the confidence to take this to the people of Canada who will reject it.
Yeah, and just remember that we may end up developing, if this doesn't work, and if we don't get enough people to vote to separate, then we might very well, someone will start a so-called Alberta separatist party, just like in Quebec. That's what may end up happening.
Mr. Speaker, in an internal letter today, the leader of the Bloc Québécois says the coalition formed by the Liberal Party and the NDP, supported by the Bloc, will take control of the administration of the federal state. We will have the creation of a mechanism of permanent consultation during the Bloc Québécois on every question of importance, notably concerning the adoption of the budget. Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister, this government, this party has never and will never sign a document like that. The Canadian people made a choice to elect a Conservative Party to govern without the support of the separatists. Mr. Speaker, if the leader of the Liberal Party wants to become Prime Minister with the support of the separatists, he needs to put that option to the people of Canada. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the Liberal Party failed to convince Canadians in the wisdom of his platform or in the sufficiency of his judgment to be Prime Minister of this country. And Mr. Speaker, if he wants to take the unprecedented step of scrapping the results of an election campaign and forming for the first time in Canadian history a government entirely dependent on the support of separatists to run this country, then, Mr. Speaker, he has the responsibility not to hide behind parliamentary niceties or deals, but to go to the people of Canada. This is very simple. The leader of the Liberal Party wants to turn his back on the results of the last election. He wants to turn his back on the traditions of his own party, and he wants to form a coalition with the Quebec separatists. Mr. Speaker, he should either walk away from that or take it to the people.
Yeah, but you know what? The separatists actually have MPs in office because it's an actual thing. It's a party. So whether he likes it or not, that's what it is. That's what it's become. And we may very well have a separatist party of Alberta if this vote fails, because you can bet that there are a lot of people that will keep pushing this. And hey, that's the way it goes. Here's a guy. Yeah, some of you will know who this is here. He's the guy that's behind Alberta Radio. This is his Facebook group. And him and I cross paths. I don't really talk to him. I don't see him. I only met him once. I saw him for one day, and that was it. But he's a podcaster or a guy with a channel I think he's on. I don't think he's on YouTube at all, but he's on Facebook. And it's Jason is his name. He's with Alberta Radio, and him and I went to a Carney event, a Liberal Carney event, when he was making his rounds before he was elected prime minister. He had a kind of a party going on. I don't know what you'd call it. But he came to Edmonton to do his song and dance, so that people would elect him. And Jason and I went down to the event, and the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, kicked him and I, both of us, out of the event. So and it was, we weren't even in the building where the event was happening. We were just standing outside of the building. And I had my video going. I was videoing the crowd and stuff like that. And they had a few speakers and whatever outside the building. Carney hadn't even arrived yet. The Secret Service came up to the people, and it was kind of one of these strip mall type locations, right? But because it was a strip mall, the land that I was actually standing on was not public property, but it was strip mall owned property, where, how strip mall has a parking lot and stuff like that. It was like in the parking lot. And the Secret Service went over and talked to the strip mall security, and the strip mall security came over to me, and I was live, and it's on one of my videos. If you go back, if you really want to see it, it's still up. One of my videos of the event that we went to, and it was a rally. It was a Liberal rally, Liberal Carney rally, and the security guard in the strip mall said, yeah, we're asking you to leave or else you'll be trespassed. And I said, why? He said, well, we can't tell you why, but Carney's Secret Service said that you can't be here. So they kicked me out of there, and they kicked Jason out of there. And if you can imagine the place, there's literally, there was 1,000 people there. So there were 1,000 cars all over the place there. Hard to get parking, hard to get anything. We got separated. I had driven him to the event, and now he's separated from me. I get back in my truck, and I'm driving around trying to find him. And I find out that he's kicked out of the thing, and we're trying to find us. And you got cops that are blocking traffic and blocking roads and making it so you can't get in there. So it took me like about 2 hours to even mesh up with Jason here that you see. So I did, in the car driving there and driving back, I had a good chance to talk to Jason, which he's a very vocal conservative person from back east. He lost his restaurant business because of the Liberals and the lockdowns. Basically, he had no business, and there were just literally thousands of restaurants and businesses that went out of business because of Trudeau and his lockdowns. You guys may not even know that, but it affected so many people so hard that they become just so bitter against the Liberals and all of the lockdowns and the crap that they did to us during the jabby jab times, and me as well. It affected me. I don't even talk about how that whole thing affected me, but it affected me to the point that I actually went on the convoy to Ottawa. That's how pissed off I was. So but the lefties, they're like, oh, well, Jason's a bad guy. Tommy Temper, you're a bad guy. You're a bigot. You're a racist. You're a blah, 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 all the rest of it. Yeah, well, lefties, you go ahead and just keep calling people names. But at the end of the day, we'll be the ones that will have our heads above water. We'll have jobs. We'll have wherewithal. We'll have bucks in our pockets, and you guys will be on welfare. So, just stick to calling names, okay? But anyways, let's hear what... I haven't heard this either. So let's hear what Jason has to say.
What's going on, everyone? So I just wanted to come on and just let everybody know that anything that's happening with our canvassers, incidents and stuff, we have a tool now to report this and keep all the incidents documented for Elections Alberta and for the authorities. So, you know, when anything happens, there is actions being taken to.
Oh yeah, because he's a canvasser, right? He goes out, and he's actually gone out to some native reserves because he's really greatly affiliated. You know, he really likes native people, you know, that kind of thing. I don't know if he's native or part native himself, but he's taken it upon himself to go to reserves in Alberta and collect signatures. So he's out there canvassing, getting signatures. So that's where his side of the story comes from here.
Make sure that we're being protected and accountability. So right now, I have been reading through social media comments on my own posts and just all over on X everywhere. And look at, I feel your.
Oh, hang on. Rad is in there saying, hold on. Seymour name calling from the right. Have you heard me name calling? Have you heard me calling anybody any kind of a name? I'm a right winger, and I don't call anybody names. I would never call you a racist. I'd never call you a hemophobe or, you know, any kind of those phobic type names, you know, or anything like that. I don't name call people. You know, I might, you know, to the worst that I will say is a radical left winger, you know, those radical lefties or whatever. That's probably about all I'm going to say, which is pretty much, you know, saying what you are. But I don't like to really, you know, as a one-on-one thing. I'll say that in speaking, but to you personally, like, I don't call people names at all. You guys know that. Hey, Mama Red, good to see you. You know, I learned a long time ago that it makes you look bad to call out your competition, right? Just remember that. It makes you look bad to say negative, derogatory things about people or things or entities that are your competition. In life, in business, in everything. You're the one that looks bad. So when you come onto a channel and you go, oh, Tommy Temper is just a bigot, you know, like, prove it. Prove it. It's easy to throw words out. It's easy to say stuff in a chat about somebody. But, you know, like, that's just, it's children's games in the schoolyard is all it is. Like, come on, grow up a little bit.
I feel you guys, and I really love the fact that you support us in that. But this is what I'm going to say. Our push for independence is going to require the utmost intelligence, respect, professionalism, be better than anyone else, everyone else. And in this case here, we can't resort to their childish tactics. We can't, you know, so what I'm saying is try and refrain from promoting any type of violence or counteraction. That's, you know, that rhetoric. Look, I'm not about, you know, payback or going after people with violence or anything like that. I don't support that at all. My thing is, I'm a canvasser. I'm trying to be professional. I'll call out the things that are happening, and I'll voice my own opinion on certain other things. But there's one thing I won't do is promote somebody or anybody wanting to, you know, endorse violence or target people with that kind of stuff. It's just, that's not what we should be doing. You know, so I'm just going to say this. For all of us canvassers, we have a tool to report with. And if it gets to the point where we have to call the police, you know, call the police. And remember, our phones are our best friends. So if something starts happening, man, right away, grab your phone, start recording it. And this way here, we can have it documented. We have to be smarter than them. And that's where we're going to prevail together. Keep our heads above the ground and keep our heads up. Show our professionalism. And remember why we're doing this. So our conduct, our behavior has to be right on point. And I just want to make sure I explain that to folks. So like I said, let's that kind of childish tone that I call out with these folks, let's not resort to that. We're better than that, Alberta. And that's where we're going to shine. So let's just keep pushing for our independence. Us canvassers, let's collectively continue getting our signatures and just pay attention of our surroundings and make sure that, remember, we have tools at our disposal to report the incidents to the authorities, everything. So I just wanted to come on and explain that to everybody. So that's pretty much it. Much love, everybody. God bless Alberta. And I just want to say thank you to all who are out there getting signatures, and thank you to everyone who signed. You know, for me, it's been a pleasure meeting all of you in person. And let's just continue to grow together and be smart. That's all. Much love and God bless.
Okay. That's Jason. Like I said, both of us are, our common thread is Mark Carney kicked both of us out of a Liberal rally in Edmonton when he came to Edmonton. So we all are real close to Mark Carney. I almost met Mark Carney. Almost. I might have been able to shake his hand, but he kicked me out before he actually showed up. And my claim to fame, and I'll never forget it forever, till the day I die, is that I was personally kicked out of a rally, out of a Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada's rally. Can you say that? If you're in the States down there and you don't like Donald Trump, can you say that Donald Trump kicked you out of a rally? You know what? Donald Trump, I doubt, would kick anybody out of a rally unless you stood up and were verbally interrupting his speech. You know that? Whereas here, they don't even let you go to the rally. You show up at the rally and you're outside of the building where he's supposed to be inside talking, and they'll kick you out. They'll kick you right off the property. They'll trespass you right off the property. Those son of a bees, you know. That's what the Liberals do. And I've seen that before, where anytime that Trudeau came to Edmonton and I went to rallies outside of the building, every single time there would be people coming out going, I got kicked out. I got kicked out. I got kicked out. I got kicked out. The Liberals just love to kick people out of their rallies. They are so anal that somebody is going to open up their mouth and say something negative about them, that if they find out that you are at all any kind of a right winger, you will immediately get turfed out of any kind of a Liberal party get together. And all I can say is shame on the Liberals for that. Shame on you. And that is another reason why Alberta should separate, because the Liberal Party doesn't appreciate us true blue Albertans at all. And they don't want any kind of a conservative leading person to even show up at one of their rallies. It's like kick you out before you even have a chance to find out about the party. Who knows? Maybe I might turn into a Liberal. If I would have went to that thing, hey, he might have really inspired me, and I would maybe have switched over, just the way some of these MPs are switching over. It's funny that I show up at a rally, a conservative like me showing up at a rally, I get kicked out. But then you get someone like an actual MP, like a conservative MP, crosses over from being an MP, and it's like open arms. Oh, come on in. Come on. We need the MP vote so that we can get back to being a majority in government. This is all bullshit. And really, that's why I despise the Liberals and the Liberal Party for the stuff that they have personally done to me. When you kick me out of a rally, do you think you're going to get my respect? No frickin' way. No way. Absolutely no way. Shame on you, Carney. Shame on you. Here's a photo, a pop-up where there was on Highway 28 by Wisconsin, an Alberta Independence pop-up, where even truck drivers were coming by. And then they would, the canvassers would go right to the truck. Guy doesn't even have to get out of his truck, and they're signing up for independence right there. That's what that photo is about. So yeah, it's happening. And guess what? Alberta is an independent place here, even already. We're becoming more and more independent all the time, because Ottawa is not Alberta's landlord. Okay? Get this straight. We're Albertans. Albertans first. Canadians second. Our resources are held in trust by the Crown in the right of Alberta. Alberta isn't property. Alberta is people. Okay? And we're sick and tired of being chained up by Ottawa, and we are going to break those chains. And, or think of it like this. At some point in time, when you're with your family, right, you grow up and you become old enough to be able to be out on your own. That's where Alberta is right now. We're old enough to be out on our own. We need to break away from Canada and become our own entity. And the big reason for it is because you guys are sucking all the wealth out of Alberta, and we're sick and tired of it. You're taking all of our money. You're spending it back east, even for something. Think about this. Pensions, pension plan. Okay? We send money to Ottawa. You have a whole bunch of overpaid workers, the bloated workforce of government employees in Ottawa that somehow takes our pension money, and then you guys invest it into stupid net zero stuff. It has to be net zero stocks that you're investing the money in. Everything has to be net zero, right? So you invested in our pension money into stuff that doesn't make money. Then you're losing money. Then you're saying, oh, we don't have very much pension money to pay back to you because of all of our shitty investments and all the overpaid, bloated bureaucracy of people that are looking after the whole thing. We can keep that in our own province. If we have a pension plan for when you get older and you retire, we'll administer it in Alberta with Alberta employees, and we'll invest it in things that make money, not net zero bullshit. Okay? There's another reason why Alberta should separate, because we don't like what the federal government is doing with our pension plan. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. You know, like I've talked about so many things, so many reasons to become independent that it becomes crazy already. Okay, we got this one here coming in from this is Faith Rangers posted this. The Canada you grew up in no longer exists. The only solution is Alberta independence. Please sign the Stay Free Alberta petition today so Alberta can have a free future for the next generation. Oh, this is so nice. Okay, let's see what he has to say here. This might be good. Again, I haven't vetted any of this stuff here. We're just flying off the seat of our pants here with today's program. So, what's he got to say?
The Canada that you grew up in no longer exists, and the Alberta Independence Petition is the best way forward for your family and a free future. Now, if you haven't already signed the Alberta Independence Petition, I highly recommend that you go and do so. Do your own research and obviously look up everything that you need to before you sign. However, the more you look into it, the more you realize that there's almost no downsides. You will be able to earn more money. You will be able to raise your kids in a free and independent Alberta. And you will be able to have even a new, stronger passport than the Canadian passport. Alberta could be one of the strongest countries in the world once it separates. And you will see this once it happens. The Canada that you grew up in no longer exists. And the Alberta Independence...
I would have to wholeheartedly agree. He's right. All the points that he brought up are right. I don't think anybody in the chat can poo-poo any of the stuff that I'm saying here. But yet, they'll go back over to their Troll Central group and go, oh, that Tommy Temper, all he's doing is he's spewing bullshit. It's all fake. It's all, stuff that he made up. No truth in it whatsoever. And, and you guys will be quoting Trump. Oh, hang on. That's not Trump.
Quote, fake news. Fake news. You are fake news. It's all fake news. Fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen. It's all fake news.
That's right. It's not fake news, though. Everything I'm saying is the absolute gospel truth, not made up by me, not made up by anybody. I'm just pulling stuff as it comes off of the net. And hey, now if this is not a great symbol for Alberta, I don't know what is. I love this. Whoever made this probably made it with grok or whatever. But there is the symbol of Alberta independence right there. The Rocky Mountains in the background. The beautiful Alberta gal there with long hair, riding on her stallion, flying the independent Alberta, Republic of Alberta flag. And who knows, we may come up, like that's our symbol at the moment because that's the Alberta flag. Whether it stays like that or whether it changes, I don't know. It might very well. There's always that possibility. But yeah, it's looking good. I love it. Okay. How much more can we up about this stuff? Oh yeah. Hang on. Let's go over what the liberals are saying or what they're doing or what they're conspiring against us. There's stuff going on out there all the time where people are trying to get us to stop talking about independence. They're trying to get us to go with the program. Oh, you guys are traitors. Oh, you know what? Calling me a traitor in no shape, way, or form makes me want to less become independent. You know that? When you call us traitors, it actually inspires us to become more independent when you name call us like that, But these liberals, they're coming up with plans that are basically trying to thwart us becoming independent, and they're bullshit plans. Let's take a look at them here, see what it is that they're into. Let's see. Liberal ideas to stop Alberta independence. The first thing they tried to do was to ignore us, right? It's not working. They're telling us it's impossible. That's not working. They're mocking us. Well, that's not working. They're blaming the USA for us wanting to be independent or calling us MAGA, right? That's not working. So what are they doing now? Oh, they're calling us traitors. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to work. Not. That's not going to work at all. Let's see. What else are they doing? They're threatening economic collapse. Oops. I moved it the wrong way. Hang on. I was just coughing a little bit. Okay, there we go. They were threatening economic collapse. But, hang on. I went the wrong way here. There we go. Back in there. Sorry about that. I'm moving the graphic by moving my mouse up and down here. Threatening economic collapse. That's not working. They're offering symbolic concessions. What's that all about? Is that like you guys back east are, hanging some kind of a apple in front of us or something? Or is it the MOU? I think that's referring to the MOU where Carney came over to Alberta and said, "Oh, well, we'll build a pipeline. We'll help you to build a pipeline." And then he ran over and talked to the natives in BC, but it was the fake native organization that was run by the American foundations, and they all said, "No, we don't want any pipelines." So whatever, this MOU thing is just a red herring as far as I'm concerned. There's no way that Carney is going to build any kind of a pipeline, especially when you say, well, we'll build a pipeline, but you have to increase all these carbon taxes and all this bullshit and make it so that it's going to be unprofitable for you to even do that. Or the Liberals are promising reform later, alligator, or just grovel about the whole thing, which is pretty much where they're at there right now. So yeah, at the end of the day, the Liberals are not going to be doing very well with trying to convince any of us to actually do anything. All of their plans are failing, and we're still wanting to have independence. So there, you can go to hell, Liberals, because it's because of you that Alberta, it's because of the Liberals. Mostly, I would say 90% is because of the Liberals. The Conservatives, like both parties, whether they're Conservative or Liberal, they don't want Alberta to become independent. Let's face it. If you're a federalist, you want to be able to maintain the status quo and keep all the provinces within Canada, right? That's their whole goal. But yeah, we're thinking a little bit differently, a lot differently, actually. Let's go with our good friend here, Chris Scott. Chris Scott, I met him going to Ottawa. He was driving a cherry picker, and his claim to fame is he has a restaurant in central Alberta called the Whistle Stop, and his restaurant became pretty famous during the days of COVID because he didn't want to go along with the shutdown mandates, right? So that's why he became really famous because of that. Now, let me just move this around a little bit here so that we look okay on the vertical and the horizontal. And let's just listen to his comment here and see what he has to say about Alberta independence. Oh, hang on. To preface it here, Chris Scott, the Whistle Stop, my 80-year-old friend opposed Alberta independence. She watched your webinar and then signed the petition. Ooh, so he's giving out some good information. Share information, have dialogue, be unapologetically Albertan. Albertans become pro-independence when they get facts. So let's listen to his facts here. There you go. Or here we go. Here we go.
I got a comment after my very first All Things Alberta Independence webinar. And the comment went something like this. Chris, I have a friend who's a aged lady of her 8th decade, and she was really against Alberta independence. And I got her to watch your video. And after she watched it, she signed. Because there was some question that she had or some concern that she had that hadn't been addressed. And by the grace of God, somehow I touched on that. And she's now on board with the idea of Alberta independence. That's how this works. That's how this works. That's why it's important to share. And that's why it's important for you folks as well to be unapologetically Albertan. Do not be ashamed of your position on this. Do not let anyone bully you into submission or tell you that you're a bad person or call you a name and shut you up. Do not shut up. Keep talking about this politely. Keep having the dialogue. Keep sharing. And if we do that and we get the information to people, that middle 30% that everyone talks about will very quickly be Alberta and independence-minded Albertans who are signing for the referendum and voting yes for Alberta to become its own independent nation.
Okay. Chris Scott from the Whistle Stop Cafe. Pretty famous little cafe located in Mirror, Alberta, which I've never been to that cafe, but like I say, I've met Chris Scott driving his picker. In fact, I actually did an interview with him out of the window of his picker truck on the way to Ottawa. I forget exactly where we were. It might have been in Windsor or someplace like that. But yeah, I had a chance to actually meet him, and he's a real proponent. He goes to a lot of these meetings and stuff like that they have with with a whole bunch of other people at town hall meetings is what they call them for independence. So yeah. Anyways, he's a good guy with relation to that. Let's listen to this next one. This is another interview. And this one is with my good friend John on the left, who I have met. I actually interviewed him at an Alberta Independence meeting in Alberta, the one where 12,000 people showed up. This is not a small thing. When you have a rally and 12,000 people show up, that's a lot of people for a province like this up in the middle of nowhere with a population of 5 million, having 12,000 people show up in support of independence. That's actually a great thing. And he's actually interviewing Keith here. And Keith is, he's one of the spokespeople for Alberta Independence. So let's listen to this one here and hear what they have to say.
The more bad things that Carney and his Liberal government do that bring the harms closer to home and impact families, the more people are going to say, what's really going on here? And is there an alternative path available? And that's where those of us in the independence movement have to be there for them and not shout at them, not call them dummies, not say it's obvious, but rather help them understand there is a process, that this is a safe path, it's a viable path, and it's one that by every measure will lead to them, their children, and their grandchildren having a better life and a better future. The more bad things that Carney and his Liberal government do that bring the harms closer to home and impact families, the more people are going to say, what's really going on here? And is there an alternative path available? And that's where those of us in the independence movement have to be there for them and not shout at them, not call them dummies, not say it's obvious, but rather help them understand there is a process, that this is a safe path, it's a viable path, and it's one that by every measure will lead to them, their children, and their grandchildren having a better life and a better future. The more bad things that Carney and his Liberal government do that bring the harms closer to home and impact families, the more people are going to say, what's really going on here? And is there an alternative path available? And that's where those of us in the independence movement have to be there for them and not shout at them, not call them dummies, not say it's obvious, but rather help them understand there is a process, that this is a safe path, it's a viable path, and it's one that by every measure will lead to them, their children, and their grandchildren having a better life and a better future. The more bad things that Carney and his Liberal government do that bring...
Okay, it's just repeating again there. Okay, so that's Keith. And you had John on the left side there. I've never met Keith. Oh, actually, I never met him. I never shook his hand. John I have, though. But Keith was one of the speakers in Edmonton. So I was actually there. So I have seen him, in real life. And he's a great guy. I think he's a lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. And he's got a lot of good things to say about independence. He debunks all of these people that say, well, what about the reserves? What about the natives? What about this? What about that? What about all these things that might impede it from happening? Well, he's got all of the answers for all that stuff. So pretty good speaker. And you can see he's fairly eloquent with what he talks about. Okay, we've got our Premier of Alberta, who has a couple of words to say about this. Let's listen to. Oh, actually, it's just a screenshot. She's not saying much, but she did say something. The rise of Alberta wants independence. Oh, I know what it's doing. It's taking it over to, hang on here. Hang on. Where is this? It's going over to another format here, which I can't even rewind it here. I hate stuff like that. Well, maybe we can bring it on here. Here, she's already started here, so all I can do is bring it in. Let's just listen to her a little bit. I missed the beginning of it here.
Resources that no other country on earth possesses. We just want to be free to develop and export that incredible wealth of resources we have for the benefit of our families and future generations. Free to pursue opportunities with the ideals of entrepreneurship, hard work, and innovation that have become synonymous with the name of our province. Freedom to choose how best to provide healthcare, education, and other needed social services to our people, even if it's done differently than what Ottawa has in mind. Strong and free is more than just our provincial motto. It represents who we are and how we want to live as a people. And that is why Albertans are so frustrated with the direction of our country. For the last 10 years, successive Liberal governments in Ottawa, supported by their new Democrat allies, have unleashed a tidal wave of laws, policies, and political attacks aimed directly and in effect against the future and livelihoods of our people. They have blocked new pipelines with C-69, canceled multiple oil and gas projects, and banned the very tanker ships needed to carry those resources to new markets. They have stacked an oil and gas production cap on top of a crippling industrial carbon tax, making new energy and agricultural projects economically impossible to pursue without massive subsidies from governments, which Ottawa has failed to provide and which our taxpayers cannot afford. This onslaught of anti-energy, anti-agriculture, and anti-resource development policies have scared away global investments to the tune of $500 billion, driving those investments and jobs out of Alberta.
Yeah, that's a good point because, people say, oh, your independence is driving away investment. No, us being part of Canada and with all of these laws in place and bills in place and stuff like that, that is what is driving away investment in Alberta. Alberta will just boom. The companies will come. They'll set up shop. There'll be more drilling. They'll, like our drilling is at a minimum here right now. I can remember years when drilling was like 4 or 5 times as much as it is right now. They're capping the oil in the ground. They don't want us to drill. They don't want us to put more oil in the market. They want to basically, in fact, Trudeau, when he was making his rounds, came to Alberta and he said, we want to shut down the oil sands, right? He doesn't want to have the oil sands. He wants to shut it down completely. He actually said that, and that was like, hey, the whole deal with the federal government was to just shut down oil. Like these guys are what you call climate zealots, where they think that our industries here are so bad for the climate that they shouldn't exist. They should just be shut down. And that's the thought process of the Liberal out there. And we're sick and tired of that stuff. You're all you're doing is just making it, bad for us people that live here in Alberta. You're just being self-centered and thinking about yourself. You know what? We could shut down. You could basically take Canada completely off of the map. Okay, and it would only cut emissions 1.5% of all of the carbon going into the atmosphere from all of the countries around the world. We're like 1.5%. That's it. and you're trying to carbon tax us and whatever and get us to use electric vehicles and stuff like that, it's only going to be a minuscule amount of 1.5% that you're going to stop. Like it's so idiotic that it's unbelievable. Back to Mrs. Smith.
Alberta and Canada to much more attractive investment climates in the United States, Asia, and the Middle East. Having traveled much of the world these past few years, it is evident that Canada is not viewed as an attractive place to invest in resource development, manufacturing, or agriculture because of our high carbon taxes, endless red tape, and the uncertainty and chaos brought about by these and other federal government policies. As a result, Canada has fallen to dead last in economic growth among industrialized nations. The world looks at us like we've lost our minds. We have the most abundant and accessible natural resources of any country on earth, and yet we landlock them, sell what we do produce to a single customer to the south of us, while enabling polluting dictatorships to eat our lunch. For Albertans, these attacks on our province by our own federal government have become unbearable. My fellow Albertans, today I wish to speak to you about the future of Alberta and Canada. Our province has contributed hundreds of billions of dollars more to the federal treasury for use in other parts of the country than will ever receive back in benefits. We have allowed this to occur because, quite frankly, we know how blessed our province is with an endowment of natural that no other country on earth possesses. We just want to be free to develop and export that incredible wealth of resources we have for the benefit of our families and future generations, free to pursue opportunities with the ideals of entrepreneurship, hard work, and innovation that have become synonymous with the name of our province, freedom to choose how best to provide healthcare, education, and other needed social services to our people, even if it's done differently than what Ottawa has in mind. Strong and free is more than just our provincial motto. It represents who we are and how we want to live as a people. And that is why Albertans are so frustrated with the direction of our country. For the last 10 years, successive Liberal governments in Ottawa, supported by their new Democrat allies, have unleashed a tidal wave of laws, policies, and political attacks aimed directly at Alberta's free economy and, in effect, against the future and livelihoods of our people. They have blocked new pipelines with C-69, canceled multiple oil and gas projects, and banned ships needed to carry those resources to new markets. They've stacked an oil and gas production cap on top of a crippling industrial carbon tax, making new energy and agricultural projects economically impossible to pursue without massive subsidies from governments, which Ottawa has failed to provide and which our taxpayers cannot afford. This onslaught of anti-energy, anti-agriculture, and anti-resource development policies have scared away global investments to the tune of $500 billion, driving those investments and jobs out of Alberta and Canada to much more attractive investment climates in the United States, Asia, and the Middle East. Having traveled much of the world these past few years, it is evident that Canada is not viewed as an attractive place to invest in resource development, manufacturing, or agriculture because of our high carbon taxes, endless red tape, and the uncertainty and chaos brought about by these and other federal government policies. As a result, Canada has fallen to dead last in economic growth among industrialized nations. The world looks at us like we've lost our minds.
Okay. She's just going on repeating. Okay, but you can see what we're talking about. That now she's not a separatist. She is for the province of Alberta. She's not talking about separation there, but she is talking about Alberta getting a shoddy deal from Confederation, from being, part of Canada. It's like there are so many reasons for Alberta to become independent. It is absolutely unbelievable. And nobody has come up yet with a good reason why Alberta should stay in Confederation. Why should we stay? Why? We're getting the raw end of the deal on everything, anything. We're paying way too high taxes, and we're not able to develop our resources. We're getting hammered by these carbon taxes like crazy, and we're paying, like when I see Canada paying multi-million dollars to various countries for gender equality and women's genderism and whatever in various countries. It's freaking woke. The federal government is woke. All of their policies are woke, and we're sick and tired of this wokeness that's going on. It's like you guys in the States, you had the Democrats. They were woke as hell. They did so many things that made you guys so woke. And like, it's funny. When Biden was in power, we would actually ask ourselves, what kind of woke policy are they going to bring in today? You know, and every single day it would be one more woke thing that we would shake our head and we would laugh and we go, what a bunch of idiots there that they're all going woke down there. Yeah, well, you know what? We're not laughing here because it's happening to us up here. And it's like whatever you guys do in the States, it's woke, then they copy whatever is happening down there up here. Eventually it happens up here. And then we have such a woke liberal government that it's just asinine. We're sick and tired of it, quite frankly. It's garbagey. It's like leaves you with a feeling like when you see this stuff that's going on, it's like icky. You know, you don't want to have anything to do with it. It's like so many people out there are just don't use their brains at all. Okay, this is a good one. This is an interview with Jeff Rath. And Jeff this is actually probably one of the best interviews with Jeff Rath, where he's talking to a CBC reporter. No, this is CTV, I believe. CTV, I think is where this came from. And he's talking to her, and he doesn't mince on the words at all. He tells it the way it is about independent Alberta independence. And I believe this is the bit where update in a bombshell revelation that's sending shockwaves through Canada. Alberta's separatist lawyer, Jeff Rath, confirms he has been meeting with high-level officials in the Trump administration. Oh, no! He claims U.S. President Donald Trump will recognize Alberta as a sovereign state. Oh, my gosh. You can't believe that. He's been talking with Trump. Oh, no! And then Eby in British Columbia comes out and calls separatists like me, like him, traitors. This is where this whole traitor thing came from, is that these guys went down to the States to see whether or not they could get a $500 billion line of credit from the States just in preparation, just in case Alberta separates. And all of these liberals are going, oh, no, they were getting in bed with the Americans. No, we're just asking them for a loan. We could have gone, what are we going to go to China, ask them for a loan? I doubt it. I'm not going to China, that's for sure.
Can you understand how, on the face of it, Canadians would view some Canadians outside of the ones that support your cause who are not necessarily unempathetic to the frustrations expressed by people in this province, but who would view the idea of, people here meeting with a government that has, spoken the way it has about this country as a whole as problematic and seeking money to make this happen.
I understand that there's a lot of Ontarians and people in Quebec that suffer deeply from Trump derangement syndrome, but we're not doing anything untoward. It's absolutely, from our perspective, we're just conducting due diligence on behalf of our fellow Albertans. We're serious professionals. I mean, I've argued cases at the Supreme Court of Canada, for goodness sake. I mean,
yeah, you'll notice that he's wearing a cowboy hat, no tie, kind of a little bit laid back. Jeffrey Rath is the epitome of the Alberta redneck. He's like me. He's like, doesn't mince on the words. I don't like swearing, or that kind of stuff. You guys will probably notice that. Very rarely will I ever swear, but like, I'm pretty staunch on my feelings about, how Alberta is being ripped off. You know what I mean?
we take what we're doing very seriously. And obviously the attitude of the United States towards Alberta independence, which incidentally is overwhelmingly enthusiastic, is something that informs our movement going forward. If the United States said, oh God, we can't tolerate that, flies in the face of, the communist New World Order, we'll slap a 300% tariff on Albertans if they leave because we want you to remain resource slaves of the communist government in Ottawa, it would be a totally different conversation. But that's not the case. We're gratified that it's the case.
Wow.
And quite frankly, the Trump administration shows Albertans far more respect than is shown to Albertans by the government in Ottawa. Do you think three of us could get a meeting with Tim Hodgson to talk about the need for a pipeline to the Pacific Northwest so that David Eby can't continue to hold us hostage? Of course not, because they want us to be held hostage. So, so I understand that there are Canadians that are upset, especially in Ontario, that when Alberta leaves, that Ontarians for the first time in their lives are going to have to pay their own bills and pay the bills of the Maritimes that we've been paying for years. I understand that's upsetting to people, but they need to understand that Albertans...
Yeah, and it's not about Alberta. Canada could give a shit about Alberta. They want Alberta's money. That's what they want.
They're done, we're leaving, and there's no more conversation to be had. I know that's upsetting to people.
Do you believe, though, that the motivations of the people you're meeting with or in the Trump administration are altruistic? Like, do you think they want what's good for you and people who support your cause, or do you think that they're trying to leverage this to get the upper hand against the country of Canada as a whole?
I've studied foreign policy at the university level. I have an honors degree in political science, and I have an honors degree in law from the London School of Economics. Don't you think that communist Ottawa is leveraging communist China against Alberta? Come on,
I like how he doesn't mince words. Communist Ottawa. Hey, they're in bed with China. Carney is forever running over to China, trying to become friends with them and get in bed with them and reduce tariffs on those Chinese spy vehicles and stuff like that. Like, he's not lying. He's just saying it the way it is.
We live in the world of realpolitik.
But you don't mind being a pawn in that fight?
We're not a pawn. I mean, we're talking to them about our aspirations, and we have our goals and objectives. So, we're not a pawn. We're actually more like a rook or a queen on a chessboard, moving forward in the direction that we want to move freely on the board.
That's right.
The pawns are the provincial premiers like Danielle Smith that are being manipulated by Carney and Eby and communist China to do their globalist bidding, as far as I'm concerned.
When you mentioned that you've met with people in the State Department, you feel as though that message has been conveyed to Scott Bessent. That's why he made the comments he did. How high up are the meetings that you're taking? Are there names, for example, of people that you're meeting with that we would recognize offhand?
I'm not sure about that. Probably. I mean, we're meeting at a very high level. People in our meetings are going, direct.
Stephen Miller?
I'm not going to say. I mean,
why not?
We're not, because we're not. We have an agreement with the people that we're meeting with that we're not disclosing the identities of the people that we're meeting with. So
why not? May I ask?
Because it's an agreement. So that's all.
But again, would it be reasonable to question the motivations of making that?
Well,
that's typical paid reporter, trying to pick it apart. Like, who are you talking to, so that they can badmouth those people as well.
That's probably why we're not talking about it. We don't want them being bothered by people from the press in Canada asking them silly questions. They don't want to be wasting their time answering questions from the press, right? And we're fine with that. We don't care. I mean, we know already that our meetings are paying dividends when the U.S. Secretary of Treasury is announcing the fact that the U.S. would be open to a pipeline through the Pacific Northwest to take David Eby and Communist China out of control of the Alberta oil field.
May I ask then, in a different way, have there been conversations, among yourself or people in the movement with, for example, as high as President Trump?
No. Well, I mean, I haven't. I'm not sure about David Cameron. He's not really part of our movement and part of what we're doing. He's the leader of the Republican Party of Alberta. He claims to have been to Mar-a-Lago and whatever. We don't need to meet with President Trump. We're really technicians when it comes right down to it, right? At the end of the day, our next delegation to Washington, we're going to have bankers, economists, corporate lawyers, et cetera, to help with this feasibility study that we're conducting, right? And we're going to be putting together, what a potential deal memo could look like and put together a complete dossier so that we can just hand it over to whoever the government of Alberta is in power and say, hey, if Ottawa is giving you a hard time, here's an easy way out. There's a large credit facility that's available through Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan or whoever, in the event that Ottawa tries to cut off your money.
Aha. So that's Jeffrey Rath. He's kind of the spokesman for the independence movement in Alberta. So he knows what he's talking about. There's other stuff going on too. It's either pro or anti. But there's people out there, despite the weather. I will drive up to QE2 to be speaking in Red Deer tonight. The topic is so important. And that's Dwayne Bratt is saying this. And he's got a little thing out here that says disinformation and Alberta separation, a public conversation. So you've got the people that are pro-Canada that are going to be giving speeches and stuff like that. And I believe this particular thing here, he's obviously presented by Dwayne Bratt, Mount Royal University. So you can imagine that a university professor is probably going to be left-leaning and is probably going to be doing a speech on pro-Canada and anti-Alberta independence. The Council of Canadians, People, Planet, Democracy. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be going to that event, but just saying that there are people out there that are so-called thinking that there's an awful lot of disinformation out there, especially in relation to Alberta separation. So there's that kind of a thing going on there too, which you can imagine what that speech is going to be like. Here's our good friend Pierre Poilievre. If MPs in your party were Alberta separatists, they would be allowed to remain in your caucus. Would they? Would they? Let's see what Pierre Poilievre has to say. Let's go.
If any of your MPs were in favor of Alberta separatism, would they be allowed to remain in your caucus?
We are entirely a Federalist caucus. I have not had a single MP express that view. And as for myself, I'm a very proud Federalist, born and bred Albertan, and we will be fighting for a united Canada. And we hope that Quebecers, Albertans, and all Canadians will unify around our beautiful flag and our love of country.
If any of your MPs were in favor of Alberta...
Okay, so MPs that are member of the Conservative Party of Canada so far have not signed the petition or are not in favor of separation. Of course, federal parties are not in favor of any kind of separation of any province within Canada. So you can't blame him for being a Federalist because, hey, he was elected to be a Federalist and he's going to toe the line of being a Federalist. That being said, when there comes a vote for who should be running Canada, I will be voting for Pierre Poilievre and not Mark Carney. Hey, I'll be voting for the Conservative, not the Liberal. And I won't be voting for the Green Party, or some other idiotic small party that has zero chance, or even the NDP party, zero chance of running the country. Like, I'm just not like that. If you don't like the right wing and the left wing, yeah, you don't vote for the underdog that never gets in because you're just throwing your vote away. That's all you are. You can feel good inside that you voted Green or whatever, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Okay, so this meme here is saying, remember I said that there are 4,500 canvassers? Now, I don't know if this is true because these are numbers, and this comes from Rise of Alberta. This is saying that we now have over 7,500 registered canvassers. And let's just do a little mathematics on that, pulling the calculator up here again. So if we want to get 1 million people to sign up on the plebiscite, then we divide that by 7,500 canvassers, and that equals 133. So each canvasser needs to get 133 votes, 133.33333333, in order to get 1 million people signing up. Do you think that each canvasser can get 130 votes, 133 votes? Absolutely. I could get probably a couple thousand votes if I went out. Although a lot of the people have already are already signed the plebiscite, you know. So the number of people left to sign up are getting to be fewer and fewer. That's why when you see people, you know, with their booth set up and stuff like that, you don't see big lineups of people because a lot of the people in the lineups have already signed up. Now it says here, be part of the movement. Sign up at the link in the comments to become a canvasser. So even though they've already got 7,500 canvassers signing people up, they still aren't stopping at that. Wow, that is a lot. That's a lot of people. 7,500 people collecting signatures. Unbelievable. We're loving it. We're loving it for sure. And Alberta is going to be strong and free. Look there's a variation of our flag there already, where our flag is getting morphed out by artificial intelligence there. And there's a little view of what our flag might look like there. That's nice. I'm liking it. Some memes and stuff like that. Some AI versions of what the flag might look like. All kind of cool stuff on the go. We're loving it for sure. So that being said, let's go. So, okay, we didn't get 5 super chats, so we're not going to drop the link to the panel, and I'm going to end the stream because it's not profitable enough to be doing this. Hang on, was that the one? No, that wasn't it.
From the shadowed foothills of the Alberta Rocky Mountains.
No, that one wasn't it either. Hang on. Oh, where is my best one of them all that goes with this? This is it. That's the one I'm looking for. The Alberta song. Listen to the words. See you all later. Bye-bye for now.
Wild winds blow, Albertans rise up, tired of the status quo.
Let's go.
Oil sands pumping black gold, beef on the grill so fine. Grain fields waving golden, canola blooming in the sunshine. But Ottawa's taking our billions, unfair equalization gain, sending it east to Quebec while we shoulder the blame. No more pipelines blocked, no more carbon tax chains. We're done with the feds breaking free from their reins. Alberta freedom ringing loud and true, sovereignty calling, independence coming through. No more woke liberalism stealing our way of life. Albertans stand tall, cutting loose from the strife. Rocky Mountains watching as we claim our own land. Freedom for our families with a rifle in hand. Alberta freedom, let the anthems roll. We're building our nation forevermore. From the prairie to the peaks, where the eagles soar high. We're sick of the traitors calling us traitors, that's a lie. Equalization's a thief, stealing our hard-earned pay, while they push their agendas, turning night into day. Beef ranchers and farmers, grain silos stand proud. Oil rigs turning profits under Alberta's cloud. No more begging for ports, landlocked but strong we stand. We'll negotiate our future with the world in our hands. They say it's illegal, but self-determination's all right. Like Ukraine from the Soviets, we'll fight through the night. No more sending our wealth to fund their endless schemes. Our pensions rising, fulfilling our dreams. Tired of the liberals, their rules and their games. Albertans awakening, calling out our Canola fields yellow, beef herds grazing free, oil sands fueling futures as far as the eye can see. We're Albertans first, with hearts full of fire. Separation's the answer, lifting us higher. No more being the wallet for a broken confederation. Freedom's our birthright, our declaration. Alberta freedom, ringing loud and true. Sovereignty calling, independence coming through. No more woke liberalism, stealing our way of life. Albertans stand tall, cut loose from the strife. Rocky Mountains watching as we claim our own land. Freedom for our families with the rifle in hand. Alberta freedom, let the anthems roll. We're building our nation forevermore. Alberta freedom, yeah, forevermore.
Lily, you can fuck off.